Betrayal podcast to hear a shocking story of deception. I'm Andrea Gunning, and now we're sharing an all-new story of betrayal. Justin Rutherford. Doctor, father, family man. It was the perfect cover to hide behind.
I was just like, what in the world is going on?
Listen to Betrayal on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Betrayal and start listening.
I'm Maria Konnikova.
And I'm Nate Silver.
And our new podcast, Risky Business, is a show about making better decisions. We're both journalists who moonlight as poker players, and that's the lens we're going to use to approach this entire show.
We're going to be discussing everything from high-stakes poker to personal questions.
Like whether I should call a plumber or fix my shower myself.
And, of course, we'll be talking about the election.
Listen to Risky Business on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Risky Business.
ESPN Asheville is WPEK W225CJ Fairview, WMFX Waynesville, an iHeart radio station, the exclusive audio home of NBC's coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympics. Live from the Ingalls studio.
I can't wait to play with myself every day.
The Sportsocracy.
Damn the devil to hell! Let the big dogs eat! Let them on the field!
Come get you some of this.
Fire them cannons! By golly, put more powder in those things.
He couldn't take any more disappointment.
Oh my God. The Jets killed him.
And welcome into the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. The Sportsocracy, heard everywhere on the iHeart Radio app, seen everywhere on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel. That way you can join us in the chat each and every day as we trudge our way through the summer months here, Jeremy Greene, and every other sport tries to fight for some kind of sunshine.
They're just so bad
that
at
is
it.
always controlled by the NFL.
You're just so bad at trying to get control of these things. We give you opportunities, and then you do on yourself.
Watching every other sport just trip over themselves in the race for attention is kind of comical. And yes, we're pinpointing the big story of the weekend that Caitlyn Clark did not get on the U.S. women's national basketball team. I was surprised when I saw it because I thought, well, I mean, that's the reason people are watching.
I was not surprised in the
now.
least, but for a completely different reason.
Would you not want her to be a part of all of that? I would think you would.
You would. You also have to remember that the committee that selects this has notoriously gone older veteran players.
Yes.
So I wasn't surprised. I laughed really hard when I saw it. Of, man, you just can't get out of your way, can you?
No, you can't, because you create all of the, she has a fan base, she has a following, and her being left out of anything, or how people reacted to her being picked on, getting hard checked the other night during a game. Like, of course, this was going to be a PR nightmare. I don't see how you got there, though.
I want you to think about what I'm getting ready to say. The Washington Mystics have played in the WNBA basically since the league was conceived. They play in a 4,200-seat arena that they struggle to sell out. I don't think they've had a sellout in it was several years. Okay. So that's not good. The Fever show up. They had to move the game to Capital One Arena, which is where the Wizards play, and they sold it out.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can we just stop with, well, Angel Reese is part of why this – no, you're not. Okay? No, you are not. Because nobody is doing that to see Angel Reese. Nobody. No game has moved venues. No sellouts have happened. It doesn't happen. Now, Stephen Tao in the YouTube comments said two things that I need to address both. A, Cameron Brink got on the team. No, she didn't. She's an alternate. And she won't touch this team. She'll travel, but she won't see a second of action. The second thing was they want to win gold, not a fan poll. Falafel them fans. Okay, that right there is where my problem comes in.
That is the problem.
Well, because it's not a problem. Okay, it's not. The WNBA could have sent Asia Wilson, Brianna Stewart, Diana Taurasi, Brittany Griner, and then filled out the roster with Tiny Toons characters, and you would still win this by 40. Every game you would win by 30 points at minimum. Here's where my problem comes in. You're telling me that, and forgive me, I don't remember the girl's name. There's a girl on the bench that has not played in almost a full year. You're telling me that you actually think that's more benefit? This, to me, is the problem with the Olympics. You are so emboldened to the dignity of your product, and it has to stay. You do understand we're in a marketing age, right? If nobody watches it, I don't really care how good your product is. Here's where you missed the boat on this. You had the opportunity to use the Caitlyn Clark eyes to make 11 other stars. What did you do? She hasn't earned her stripes yet. Cool. The momentum will stop. Just, you mark my words, the momentum at the rate that it's at right now will stop. I told you this before when she was drafted. When you're 3-9 and the product's not very good, the allure wears off pretty quickly. And when it does, you don't have the ability to do this anymore. Because do you remember Linsanity?
Oh, yeah.
You remember how fun that was for about, 3 weeks? Yeah, then there was this problem of, by the way, the Knicks suck. They're awful, and it's hard to watch. You're going to get to that point. I don't know how long it's going to take. Frankly, I would have already thought that it was going to happen, and if anything, it's gotten more so. But doing things like this and not understanding the marketability of what you have is exactly why I feel like this is not going to sustain.
I don't see how it sustains. Because you have this finite window. You have this window once football comes back, we all know what's going to happen. This all gets shoved under the rug, and football dominates everything. You've got one more month here. Another month of the summer that you could try to dominate the news cycle. And by not including her on the team, you took all those eyeballs away, yes. And I don't know, it just makes me wonder where your head's at in growing the sport, because that's where your head's supposed to be at. I get that this is a team, this is like, like the coaching staff and everybody at USA women's basketball, like our goal is go out and win a gold medal. Well, awesome. But you're also trying to grow the sport. You're at a pivotal moment here. Taking the biggest star away is not the answer. And is the thought here, the only thought that I have that makes any type of sense, is that they didn't want the distraction. I don't want the biggest star in basketball right now sitting on the bench for 90% of these games.
All right, are you going to get more eyeballs with her sitting on the bench for 90% of the time, or her just not being there at all?
Yes, you will get more eyeballs on it with her there.
I laugh so hard at that excuse of we don't want the distraction. You mean you don't want the distraction of people actually watching this? Because I'm going and tell you they're not going to. They never have in large numbers. The Olympic numbers have dwindled for years to the point that NBC would kill to get out of this deal. They would kill to get out of this deal. In a time that we are just obsessed with having content because it doesn't rate. Yes, you get, 2 weeks? You get 2 weeks of content that you get to put out there on NBC Sports and the NBC network. The problem is nobody watches it. And so your ad rate is exponentially lower. The men's team, I would argue the men's team's not even all that watchable at this point. Because I've seen it.
It is. I was going to say it is, it's LeBron James again.
Allegedly.
You don't think he'll play?
I find it very strange that they quietly put that roster out in March, and I haven't heard a soul talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I find that to be written. Now, if you can get all those guys together, more power to you. And if anybody can do it, it would be Grant Hill. I'm just looking at this going, how can you possibly be this stupid? From the top down, how can you be this stupid? You have a supernova in terms of popularity. And you can make this about whatever you want to make it about. I'm going to make it about one thing. Dollars. Okay? You can give me fair. You can give me all these stupid-ass arguments that you want to. I'm tired of even entertaining it because there's one thing that matters here. Sustainability. The only way you're sustainable is if you have enough money to support all of these different things that you're putting in. And, now we're doing charter flights and blah, 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 blah. Do you know why you're doing charter flights? It's not because you went and whined. I promise you that. It's because you have exponentially more eyeballs. It's because ESPN got behind this, and now you're getting ad dollars that you have never seen the likes of. You know when those dry up? When all of a sudden you stop having to move games to Capital One Arena because 4,200 is not enough. And you keep doing things like this, it will happen because the novelty will wear off, just like Linsanity did.
You're fighting an uphill battle in the first place, right? You're trying to get new eyeballs on something that has been just flat out rejected or ignored. I won't even say rejected, just ignored for years, right? It's been, the WNBA started up in the 90s?
95, if I remember correctly. It's 95 or 96. Yeah. The Panthers and the WNBA came along about the same time.
Yeah,
might have been 98.
Right. I'm going to say like Rebecca Lobo was a part of that first class.
Yes.
Of WNBA stars.
She was the first number one pick, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, and tried to make it a thing, tried to build it into something all these years. Little by little, you've gotten over every little hurdle that's been in your way until now you're at a breaking point. You're at a breaking point of, are we going to bring more eyeballs or are we going to isolate more fans? And there's a lot of things that have been happening in the WNBA over the last couple of months that it's souring not all of the new eyeballs, but many of the new eyeballs to your sport.
One thing
are being
that people
soured by some of the things that they've seen, the arguments that have taken place. We talked last week, like people, players are more concerned right now with complaining to the media about not being there in the past, rather than appreciating the fact that we have more eyeballs now.
Well, I'm going to say something that in our area may not be this may not be popular, but it's true. We have shown, as a sports fan base, there's one thing that I will say 95% of sports fans don't want, and that's to be preached to. If we want to be preached to, we'll go to church on Sunday or Saturday or whatever day you decide to go. None of that matters. You know who I don't need to be preached at? By people that gave me a product that was 100% unwatchable for 25 years. You have now, under literally nothing of your own doing, been handed a ready-made prospect, and it might be one of the last ones because college is doing everything in their power to screw up that product. And now you're taking this ready-made product and you can't even get that right. If I was the head of USA basketball, Caitlyn Clark's the first name on that list. I don't care if she plays 10 minutes the entire tournament. I don't care. I would rather have people talking about why is she not playing than people talking about why is she not here. And you know why? Because that at least keeps me in the landscape. If you're talking about why did she only play 4 minutes last night, you're going to do that for every game. The why is she not here? That'll last this week. Mm-hmm. Because it's a slow news week. And when I say slow, I mean slow. And that's the reason we're starting a show with this. Because it's so unbelievably stupid. Let me ask you a question. Why do you think this happens? Because I have a no doubt lean as to why these things are happening.
Why what things are happening?
I'll go with this one specifically, but why are we talking so much about the body check and the credit and all these things with Caitlyn Clark? There's one word that I'm looking for here.
Mm-hmm.
It's jealousy.
What is that word? Jealousy?
Jealousy or ego? How many of the people that made the decision on the Olympic team played in the WNBA?
No, probably all of them.
4 of the 5 that I know of.
Okay.
And there might have been more, but 4 of the 5. Mm-hmm. Dawn Staley probably doesn't love the fact that Caitlyn Clark is already more popular than she ever was. That's not an opinion, it's a fact.
Mm-hmm.
She was a great player in the league. She's been a great coach in college. You're letting your ego get in the way. Because anybody with an IQ above salad dressing could look at this and go, what is better? Is it better to have this girl, rookie in the WNBA, that everybody wants to seemingly watch, sitting on the bench and at least with the team? For the love of God, the dream team had Christian Laettner on it. So please save me on this as a competitive, we want to make sure we win the gold. Well, the first time somebody beats you, you let me know. Mm-hmm. And you let me know the 12th person off the bench, how important that actually is. It was really important to the eyeballs. But you're letting your ego get in the way. This is the reason that everybody wants to talk about, well, why were you not watching 4 years ago? Because your product was terrible. Your product was terrible and you didn't develop stars. Congratulations, you were handed one. And now all you have to do is not screw it up, and you're doing everything in your power to do that.
No doubt.
Because your 20,000 people in D.C. is great. If that doesn't translate to television numbers, it means absolutely nothing. Because 20,000 people is a drop in the bucket compared to what you need to be financially viable.
Right. If this were the men's game, this wouldn't be a discussion. Right? Because the men don't need a big star to push the game forward. The women's game does.
Oh, I don't agree with what you just said at all.
Really?
Every sport needs big stars. I touched on this last week, and I'll hammer on it now. There are way more people that care more about the name on the back than the name on the front. I don't think I realized how many people that actually was. But it's a lot. The allegiance, and the NBA falls victim to this. Hey, did you notice that the non-Kobe, non-LeBron year, man, that wasn't real popular in L.A., was it? LeBron showed up, and all of a sudden the Lakers were the Lakers again. They didn't win anymore. They got one title in a bubble that nobody cared about. Number one story on ESPN right now is who their new coach is going to be. Half of the people reading that story couldn't tell you who their old coach was. Because we care about Dan Hurley. That's a name. I care about names. If you told me James Borrego got that job for the Lakers tomorrow, you know what he would be 5 years from now? Oh, yeah, you remember that guy that coached the Lakers for the last 2 years with LeBron? He was awful. Yeah, because they missed the playoffs, and the Bronny thing went sideways. You'll remember Dan Hurley. Just like you remember they chased Mike Krzyzewski 20 years ago. Hey, name me the coaches since then. I'll wait.
Yeah.
We did this last week, and you struggled to name, and I think you're one of the smartest sports people I've ever met. You were even struggling to get to Byron Scott, and I can't remember the other one that you forgot. And I completely forgot. Bernie Bickerstaff. Didn't even remember it.
Nope. We remember names. We remember. You're right. But the parallel I was making there was, say we had, Zion. Use him for example. Like, we don't have to add him to the national team. Like, we're good. We can win this without that name.
To a point.
But the women's game is not in that position. There's no excuse that you can make that make this make sense to me.
Okay, I misunderstood. That's my bad. I misunderstood what you were saying.
No, you're good.
I thought you were saying that the men can just throw USA on their chest and we'll watch it.
No. You need the stars, but there's no young star that has to make the team.
Individual. You have to have stars, but no individual. Okay, I get what you're saying.
Right.
But
the women's game, you don't have that. You've got some stars. You got some names that we kind of know. Diana Taurasi and Asia Wilson, but Caitlyn is a whole nother realm. You want to keep growing the sport, you got to use your stars. If it creates a narrative, which one would you rather have? Would you rather have people, as Jeremy said, would you rather have them watching and complaining that she's not playing enough? They're still watching, though. Or would you rather have them, just write you off completely and say, well, this is just another reason why I don't need to watch your product anymore?
It
hurts you.
It developed a rule for me. We got to take a break, but when we come back, we'll talk about this. Michael Jordan's number was 23, and I am a conspiracy theorist. Don't get me wrong. I believe that there is a rule of 23 in sports.
You're in the Sportsocracy. We'll learn the rule of 23 coming up next on ESPN Asheville.
You're going to feel a puff of air.
Jong's Optometry has set their sights on staffing up.
Try the next.
And clear.
Can you tell her 2 o'clock we're running 15 behind? A bit backed up today.
We have a super chat, and Armchair has a real good point at the end of, with his last comment in the
great
chat.
People fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
In this week's Marketers Report, Dana Nussbaum, Executive Vice President, Worldwide Marketing at Warner Brothers Discovery, weighs in on regional audio marketing.
Although we're marketing at a very broad scale, it does include specific local markets, and that's the beauty of iHeart's network.
I don't understand the super chat.
Media gives marketers access to the audience's influence.
I'll send you the story. I'm looking for it on Twitter now. We'll talk about it after
iHeartResults.com.
outside.
Hi.
Okay.
Insurance agency. Right now you're thinking, Comparion. Never heard of them. We know. We also know that you have no idea that Comparion insurance agents are local and provide expert advice. So to help it stick, we're going to say local agent 4 times in the next 15 seconds. Ready? Go. Our local agents know you and your community. Our local agents offer insurance from top carriers. Our local agents have minty fresh breath.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com. Comparion Insurance Agency. Local agents, expert advice.
And there's number 4.
With T-Mobile, you can get tons of benefits and still save, because nobody likes having to choose. It's like getting romance and sci-fi.
I love you. Also, I'm a robot.
At T-Mobile, you can get the benefits you want and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. See how with our savings calculator at T-Mobile.com/switch. Plus, switch and keep your phone. We'll pay it off up to $800.
Via virtual prepaid card in 15 days. Qualifying unlocked device credit service and timely redemption required. Card has no cash access and expires in 6 months. See T-Mobile.com.
Did you know Ingalls only sells USDA Choice and Prime cuts of meat? Maybe it's time to reward yourself. Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. Grass-fed, organic, you name it. Not only that, we'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. And we grind meat fresh in the store multiple times a day. It's all in the bag. That's the best meat in town for the best folks in town. Ingalls. Low prices. Love the savings.
This summer, Dale's Pale Ale salutes freedom. Freedom in fabric, or the fabric of freedom. Denim Dale's available for a limited time in the blue jean box. Dale's salutes everyone who works hard, plays hard, and relaxes
I did that. I was
hard.
doing a thing
Life's more
again.
than about what you pack in your denim. Though we're packing beer, so we win. Seize the Dales. Unwind in style with a cool breeze up the jorts. Just look for the beer in the blue jean box.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at ClarissaSellsWNC.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or ClarissaSellsWNC@gmail.com.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Cot?
Back on ESPN Asheville, this is the Sportsocracy. Jeremy Greene wants to educate us on the rule of 23, whatever that may mean. Is this a hard and fast rule that you've heard about before from somewhere else, or you just make it up?
I just made it up. See,
Okay,
here's the thing about being in the deep recesses of Mullet Manor. It's a lot darker than you would think it is, especially if you watch, because I have a big old light in front of me that lights me up. It's dark in here. I have a lot of time where I'm left alone with my thoughts. Mm-hmm. And I developed this rule as I was thinking about Major League Baseball, the WNBA,
okay,
and all of the ancillary sports. How many other stars can you name? Do I get to 23? Do I get to 13? Do I even get to 10? You need 23 legit marketable stars for your league to actually flourish. And if you don't have that, you're screwed.
Okay.
And the one that got me stuck on that is the NBA. How many marketable stars, not good players, I'm not saying good players, how many marketable stars do you have? If Devin Booker had never dated a Kardashian, would you know what he looked like? Would you know what he sounded like when he spoke? If you hear him on the radio and you hear his voice, do you know it's Devin Booker if you didn't hear the intro? No.
No.
Do you know what Kawhi Leonard sounds like outside of one weird little laugh?
No mumbles?
You don't.
Not really.
Because none of these guys are marketable. Major League Baseball, the problem they had years ago, when was the last time they were popular? Really popular. Really national landscape, non-sports entities would talk about baseball and things that happen on the field.
Oh, it was early 2000s.
1998. It's when Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire were both chasing the record. That's the last time. Why? Because we had two stars. We had legit stars that were doing things on the field. Then we had Barry Bonds. Well, as baseball, what did you do? You discredited all of our stars. And you told us that they were all cheaters and they were all bad and none of us should love them. Then what did you do? You didn't replace them. The biggest stars in Major League Baseball from 2005 to 2020, how many of them could you name without thinking about it?
Yeah,
it's not many.
There's only a handful.
And of the few that you can name, how many of them were discredited by the steroid thing? Because I could make the argument in the last 30 years, the only two guys you didn't completely discredit were Ken Griffey Jr. and Derek Jeter. That's it.
Yeah.
So basically, our whole formative years, you told us that they were bad, bad, bad. Oh, they're awful. They're a scourge of the game, and you shouldn't love them, and you shouldn't buy their jersey, and you should name me any Dustin Pedroia, who I think is 9 inches shorter than me. Love him. No, well, he sucks. Okay, he's a little tiny feller, and he's not marketable in the least. He doesn't suck. I was being hyperbolic there.
Thank you.
I actually
Petey
like Dustin Pedroia for what it's worth.
I was going to say, Petey was awesome, and you take that back.
Well, and if I could think of any other baseball player to have thrown under the bus right there, I'd have done it.
I'd have done it.
But sorry, I didn't think Kevin Appier was going to do it for me.
The point is well taken. You don't have a lot of individual stars in Major League Baseball, so you're saying 23 is the number that you need to get to.
College football. Are there 23 college football players that if you heard their name, you would go, "Hey, I know who that is"?
Nah,
I'll bet you would.
Yeah,
Quinn Ewers, you'd know him on sight, fact or fiction.
Sure. Yeah.
Both of Deion Sanders' kids.
Yeah.
I keep doing this.
Okay.
Oh, and by the way, this year hasn't even started yet. By the end of last year, when we went to the draft, how many of the guys that walked across that stage did you not know on sight? By the way, you were part of the development of this theory because every time you saw a player, it didn't matter what they were wearing. It didn't matter if they had the hat on. Every time a player passed you and you went to the catering table, you would come back and say, "I saw blank."
Hey, so-and-so just passed.
You didn't need to know anything else. You knew who they were. No other league has
did
that.
help, though. The NFL hats, draft hats did help, though.
Well, a lot of them didn't have the hat on when they were walking through the halls.
Dude, when I saw Quinion Mitchell walk by me, I went, dude, that suit is awesome. Oh, that's Quinion Mitchell.
I almost decapitated him by accident. He came around the corner as I was we were like two ships passing in the night.
Yep.
And he ran into me and went, "Good God, that's a big media dude. It looks kind of homeless."
Major League Baseball had a big weekend this weekend. Did you know this? Did you know that there was a series in London this weekend?
I did, but not for the reason that you would want me to.
Oh, please do tell. How did you stumble upon this information?
Because my wife is one of those people that when she wakes up in the morning, the first 3 things she does is ask Alexa what the weather is outside, what the weather is going to be today, and what the top news stories of the day are. And out of my peripherals, I heard something about, was it the Phillies and the Mets?
Yeah.
Yeah. The only reason I know that is because Alexa thought it was a pertinent story.
Yeah. I completely forgot until like yesterday afternoon. I was like, oh yeah, we're doing that. I don't remember seeing any advertisement for that.
There was none.
Hearing about it, I don't remember any of this. And like, ESPN's running these games. What are you doing? It's just baffling to me that you have something like that, something that momentous going on. And how could there be even casual fans that don't know it?
But why is that momentous?
There was a story of one of the because it's one of your big promotions, right? This is supposed to be a headline grabbing thing. It's the only reason you would do these things. You want to grow the game.
Okay,
because you're not advertising it.
But this is what has always been comical to me about the doing the international games. I've watched the NBA do this. Nobody cares. I've watched Major League Baseball do this. Nobody cares. Mm-hmm. Do you know why it works for the NFL? Because in America, they already have you. We could play these games in Cancun. We could play them in Antarctica. It doesn't matter. They're not for you. You're going to watch them regardless, in droves. Oh, and it's another sweet little niche because we can play a game at 9:30 in the morning, which is another television window. Yep. They don't care. Major League Baseball actually thinks, oh, people will watch just because we're playing a game in Iowa at the Field of Dreams field, which you did once, but you know they did that twice, right? Did you notice we didn't talk about it the second time?
Yeah.
Because it was a shtick. Shticks don't work. Stars do. Stars never fade.
At every turn, I'm just starting to feel like we as an American sports society, let's just stop doing any of these things.
Well, there's a merit in doing them. You just have to know what they are.
I guess, but the international stuff, I just don't feel like it does much. There's no real interest at home for the NBA in international things. Major League Baseball, apparently you don't have much interest in your own thing. There was a baseball fan, a Phillies fan, report on Twitter talking about how he was spotted outside of a local pub by a guy who went, "Hey, a Phillies jersey. Are you from Philly?" And he went, "Yeah, I'm here for the game." And the guy who was a Londoner said, "What game?" So they didn't even know. Like, that guy might have been interested, but apparently they didn't do a good enough job of promoting it in England. It's just over and over again the WNBA with the Caitlyn Clark thing. The NFL, it's successful there, but we always complain about the matchups that we get in the international games. And the Olympics, all of it. Like, maybe we just stay home. We just keep it all within our borders, and we'll just stay home.
Well, because there's one thing as Americans that we do. We do it really well domestically sometimes, but we do it really poorly internationally. Is that we think we do everything better than everybody else. I got news for you. If you take foreign countries that have basketball leagues, they think their basketball league's better than yours. Straight up. So you come in and go, look, we got the best stars in the country. Or we got the best stars in the world. Do you? Do you? Because you're giving them the Washington Wizards, which is not necessarily better than what they're seeing.
Right.
And now this, if we're not careful, this is going to go into a way bigger topic.
Mm-hmm.
Every one of these leagues does one thing really, really, really badly. They feel like they have to be in more markets. Major League Baseball has 30 teams. Is that right?
Yes.
It's been 30 for a long time, so I just want to make sure.
They're talking expansion again.
Yep, that's where I'm headed. You really need like 18. You need like 18 teams. Because I got news for you. Nobody on this planet cares about the Florida Marlins. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about the Colorado Rockies. Nobody cares about the Arizona Diamondbacks. Nobody cares about the Oakland A's or the Las Vegas A's or wherever the hell they're going to play. Nobody cares. But if you have less teams, what does that mean? And I actually think this is something the WNBA does well, whether they mean to or not. You wind up with super teams. Mm-hmm. Do you realize how many first-round picks are getting cut within the first year in the WNBA because they can't make the roster? There's a merit to that. You can take that internationally and go, look, this is as good as it gets because we've got 8 teams or 10 teams or 12 teams, and they're loaded. The problem is Major League Baseball sent you the New York Mets, who are awful. I grew up a Mets fan. Trust me. I keep an eye on it. There's a reason it's real easy for me to go, well, baseball's dead. Because baseball season for me is like springtime in Alaska. Lasts for about 4 innings. Hey, best season ever.
Hey, like being a Jets fan, huh?
Hey, you talk crap about the Mets. You talking about the Nuggets. There are 2 things that stay sacred in this safe space. That is my Florida State Seminoles and my New York Jets. Mm-hmm. I catch a lot of strays. They didn't do anything. We ain't talking about the Jets here.
Mm-hmm.
Leave that team alone.
It's weird, though. I thought you chose that number 4. Weird.
I'm going to punch you directly in the jejunum. You know, I must say, you're getting awful, you're feeling the space.
Oh, yeah.
When I'm not in the room to threaten to punch you in the jejunum, you're getting a lot more fluid.
Exactly. Yeah, it opens me up just a little bit where I don't have to fear you immediately jumping across the table at me.
Well, just remember, I'm coming back, bruh, and I have a memory like an elephant. So...
All right, you're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400.
This is your Exergen Temple Scanner weather for.
And you're clear.
ESPN
Thank you.
Asheville.
All right, we got to do outside, then we got to hit the super chat, and I want to hit that one from Armchair, talking about how many little girls were running out to get their Tarazi jersey today. I think it's a great point.
Yeah. 78 tonight in the low 50s, some 40s out in some of our cooler spots, clear sky, little patchy fog early tomorrow.
But now, Cheech Marin, you do have to remind me after outside to do that, because I will forget like I just did.
I'm Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Summit Racing Equipment.
Grab great gearhead gifts your dad will love, like tools, parts, and collectibles.
Well, I didn't want to do the super chat and then say, oh, but we'll come back and tell you about that later. So...
code radio for $10 off an order of $100 or more. Exclusions apply. Offer ends.
Because I'm still not sure what it is.
Listening for the next chance to win your way to our iHeartRadio Music Festival, presented by Capital One.
A weekend full of superstar performances this September.
Streaming live only on Hulu. Tickets go on sale Friday, June 14th.
But starting Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, Capital One cardholders get first access to tickets and other exclusive offers for 48 hours only or while pre-sale tickets last. Visit iHeartRadio.com/Capital One for more pre-sale details. What's in your wallet?
Join us for our 37th annual Operation Blood Drive with WLOS ABC 13 and iHeartRadio Asheville. June 27th. Visit redcrossblood.org and use the sponsor code OBD2024. OBD20.
We're still on the screen.
There.
Make this month more special with free This Week entertainment picks from Xfinity. Celebrate Pride Month.
Just watch me twiddle my beard.
Well, I guess I should fix that.
For Black Music Month, watch concert performances by legendary artists of the past on Quest TV, or revel in the hip-hop culture of today with Revolt. And no matter the occasion, iHeartRadio's Hip Hop Beats playlist has the soundtrack to all your good times. Xfinity has free entertainment for any celebration. Say free this week into your Xfinity.
Did you find that story? Send it to me.
KFC's $10 Tuesday. Get 8 hot and juicy
It's the
drums
Josh
fries
Jacobs
for just
story.
$10. Taste it for yourself. Every Tuesday, only at KFC. It's finger licking good. Prices and participation vary. Tax, tips, and fees extra.
If cleanliness is next to godliness.
Oh, okay. All right. Now it kind of makes sense. All right, cool. Well,
So does
coming up.
detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise.
It is my outside story, so I'll do it right out of the gate.
Kick off the Parks Promise Community Hero Program.
All right, let me do
This year
mine
we'll be
first,
celebrating
and then we can
nonprofits
shade
throughout
into yours.
Western Virginia that live to do better and be better for the communities that we serve. There are so many organizations.
Yours is a
doing
bigger
amazing
story.
things,
Mine's just
from
fun to
being
make fun
helpful
of
hand to
a
soft voice
dum-dum.
or a warm heart to embrace their neighbors. We can't wait to introduce you to our 2024 Parks Promise Community Heroes. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
Boy, you must be outside your mind.
The Sportsocracy.
Just a bit outside. He tried the corner and missed.
We're back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. I'm Tank Spencer, live here in the Ingalls studio. Jeremy Greene live at Mullet Manor. Let's get just a bit outside, bro. Bruh.
I'm gonna have to change our nameplates because Tank just refuses to stop wearing white. And also, don't steal my thing. I can say bro. You cannot. My story is about Randy Gregory. He is never, ever, ever going to win a Smartman contest. And this might be the dumbest thing I've ever heard, and I can't believe a lawyer actually undertook it. So Randy's had a little bit of a weed problem over his time in the NFL, and he has been fined for it. So this is a great time to give the information that Tank didn't know, and I didn't know, and I had to look it up. The NFL they still test their players for certain things. Weed is no longer something that they suspend players for. However, it is still a banned substance, and if you test positive for it, they will fine you. How much do you think Randy Gregory's been fined for THC being in his urine samples over the course of the years?
Like total in his career? $2.7 million.
Okay, you went way to the wrong side of that. $532,000, which is a lot when you find out that the biggest that fine could possibly be, if I'm not mistaken, and this is the internet, old Google box telling me, the biggest that fine can be is $50,000. That's a whole mess of times you have boo-boo kittied this. Well, now he and his legal team, they're suing the NFL for the fines, saying that because he played in Denver, which is when that amount was levied, he only played there for 2 years. Just throwing that out there. That it's legal in Denver, so this is unconstitutional that he was doing something legal in the state which he lived in, and for you to levy fines. Now, I don't expect you to have a law degree here, but you know why that's really stupid, right?
Yeah, because I can tell you.
It doesn't matter what state you live in.
Here.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what state you live in, because this is a national company that's centered in New York, where it is illegal. And so they can tell you anything they want to. And if they want to fine you and you sign off on it, there's nothing you can do about it.
But
except hope that they roll over on it.
Any company in Colorado can tell you you can't smoke weed.
Bingo.
And work here.
Yeah, it's that there's nothing unconstitutional about that.
No.
If you want to smoke the marijuanas, maybe find a job that's okay with it. I'm sure there's plenty of them in Colorado.
Right.
Probably a lot of them, if I had to wager. Asheville, I would say, at this point, I think it's a prerequisite in some jobs.
Yeah, you can go work in radio. It's fine. That's where all the potheads work.
It's not a prerequisite in radio. Although, some of you challenge that from time to time.
Well, $500,000 in fines. It's a lot, but it's also one of those things of you know the rules. You know it's not legal. You know you can't do it for your job because you've been fined 17 times by the NFL for this.
Bingo.
I mean, wasn't he suspended 3 times?
Yeah.
For violating the policy?
Yeah, he's not coming down on that, because at that time he was in the state of Texas where weed is still not legal. It's the most basic public defender in the history of time could sit in a prosecutorial bench and defend this. This will be thrown out immediately. And then you get down it's discrimination. It's not discrimination because we told you. We told you specifically you can't do this. It's not about you. Anybody that did this would be subject to the same fine because we told you all the exact same thing. You got put on the radar, and because you kept failing tests, so you got tested more. It's in the bylaws.
Yeah, they're picking on me.
You remember when you signed your name on that contract? It said all of this. You agreed to it, and then you took their money.
It's completely profiling. They keep drug testing the pothead. Why would you do that?
Hey,
you can't discriminate against me.
Ron White once said he was going to challenge a DUI because they were pulling over every car that was traveling down that particular sidewalk.
Right.
And that's profiling. Profiling's wrong.
Doesn't work that way. We do have a super chat that we need to get to, which weaves into my outside story. Yeah! It comes to us from Soaring Eagle. Says this past weekend we got the Olympic thing, and then there was a story that he sent to Jeremy that he saw and was like, is the NFL trying to kill its players? Well, the story he's referring to is Josh Jacobs apparently seems to be the source of the rumor that went around like wildfire this weekend on social media that the Packers and the Eagles, when they play their Brazil game, they will not be allowed to wear the color green because of, the gangs. Now, that spread like crazy, and everybody, of course, flipped out like, oh, come on, we should just stay home. We shouldn't be doing this. This is crazy. What are they going to do? Are they going to wear the blue uniforms? I saw that one.
Those two god-awful sets of uniforms they both have that don't have any green in it?
Yeah. The Packers wearing the dark blue and the gold with a little circle, the little pokey dot in the middle, and then there was the Delaware helmets that the Eagles apparently wore at one point, which the Giants are going to wear some of those this year as well. At one point in football history, did everybody have those weird little Wolverine, I don't even know what you call that design.
I knew this at one time, and I don't know
Michigan, because I know Michigan and Delaware wears them. And apparently it was like a style back in the 40s where a bunch of teams wore them.
Oh, well, now
wore their leather helmets painted like that.
We've gotten fashion forward. Stop doing that. Michigan can do it. Everybody else needs to never do it again.
Everybody else has to stop immediately. So anyway, so Josh Jacobs goes on the Chris Long podcast, and he said, yeah, they told us that, we're going to be locked down. They won't let us leave our hotel rooms. We're going to have like armored vehicles taking us from place to place while we're there. And can't nobody wear green. They said just pack black and white clothes because we can't wear green while we're down there because of the gangs. I guess the thing that he's referring to is the soccer fan battle that goes on there. So the stadium that they're going to be playing in, the team, the home team there, their biggest rival wears green. And there's been a lot of attacks between the fans. And so that, I guess, is what they're referring to. Seems odd. And then it comes out that, no, none of that is true. Josh Jacobs just made that up.
Well, he didn't quite make it up. Okay. He made up the reason. So Jeff Kerr of CBS Sports actually talked about this, that there's an informal ban on the color green, and it's related to Corinthians,
which
that's is the biggest team. That's the soccer team there, and they have a rival named Palmeiras who wears green. So they don't let their soccer players wear green there. It has nothing to do with gangs. It would be like the best way when I read the story, the best way I could explain this would be like Duke having a prohibition on guys wearing Carolina blue shoes or Carolina blue accents or the arm sleeve or anything like that. We don't want you wearing their colors. It has absolutely nothing to do with this. And the NFL came out and said, yeah, we'll have fans wearing green on both sides.
Yes.
Why would we pick? When I read this story, and I'll be honest with you, Soaring Eagle sent this to me Friday. It was either Friday or Thursday, one or the other. I saw the story and I went, something about that doesn't smell right. That doesn't pass the old sniffer test to me, because that's something that Major League Baseball would do. That's not something that the NFL would do. Because if that was a thing, you wouldn't have sent two teams that are wearing green, because that would be stupid.
No. I mean, it is a thing. There is hey, you probably shouldn't go out in green colors, because you said, hey, the local soccer team there, they do that as well.
Well, it's because their rival team is green. It's nothing to do with gangs. It's not like that you're going to be in danger. He makes it sound like they're playing in Guantanamo Bay.
Well, I mean,
the NFL would never do that ever. The one thing that can screw up their empire is, hey, we had a guy get shot on the way to the stadium. Man, wasn't that dumb? Nothing that could ever possibly do that. Will they ever play a game anywhere near that?
Really?
No.
Really? I mean, I feel like people have gotten shot outside of Raiders games. So
fans, not players.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, look, we still have a team in Chicago. So, I mean, I'm not telling you that you're not in danger sometimes. I mean, basically, the whole city of Chicago is like a war zone. So,
right.
I mean, the Bears do play there. But, I mean, in terms of players not being able to wear a color, are you out of your mind? I read all of that, and I went, there's an explanation here that makes way more sense. And the fact that it's Josh Jacobs, and I saw B. Malik, who's a Raiders fan, said he's happy Josh Jacobs is gone. I don't need to hear his Instagram drama anymore every week.
Yep.
That was
those soccer teams, though, man. The soccer fans. I mean, they are like little gangs.
I wouldn't go there. That's
really
no, not for NFL players. Look, every bit of this was vetted. There's no worry. If there was, we wouldn't be there. Do you remember when we played in Azteca in Mexico, and we did not exactly the same thing, but there was a little low-flying rumor on the internet that, the gangs are upset that we're having a game down there, and they're going to show up and have like a bloodletting outside the stadium. Weird. Nothing happened. Nothing happened.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if it was Major League Baseball, I'd be more worried. If it was the NBA, I'd be more worried. Because you know what? You could tell me that Adam Silver didn't vet the location and wound up playing a game in a place where you can't wear a certain color. I could believe that.
Didn't they do that once where they played a game at a stadium that the roof leaked, like the roof was caving in while they were playing?
Yes.
Wasn't that like one of those Mexico games that they did?
They played one, I think it was in France, that there was, I want to say there was ice under the floor, and it was condensating through the floor. And so the floor was just wet, like the entire game. And so they finally had to call it off. I want to say the Hornets were playing in that, but I could be wrong.
Maybe so. Hopefully everybody stays safe for this, but the whole, they're not going to allow us to wear green thing apparently was all just BS, and Josh Jacobs made it up.
He took a story with a shred of truth and made it into something it wasn't, and people latched onto it and believed it was true. And that, boys and girls, is the number one lesson in why you should not get your political information from Facebook.
From Facebook.
Yeah, if you read it on Facebook, I'm going to give you my process. There's a reason I don't ever get duped by these things. It's because I live by a simple philosophy. It's 3 letters. GTS. Google that ish
stuff.
Cause the interwebs is undefeated, and it will tell you, hey, that doesn't make sense. I've gotten in more fights than verbal confrontations with people because they will tell me something political that makes absolutely no sense, and then they will vehemently defend it to the death. And I always ask the same question. Hey, where did you hear that? Did you hear that on a credible news source, or did you read it on Facebook? And as soon as I say that, they get real quiet and go, uh-oh. Yep, read that one on the old Twitter box.
Yep.
That's the thing about social media. Everybody can write on it, and they don't have to be vetted, and some of them are insanely stupid.
Mm-hmm. Soccer fans are a different breed, Jeremy. Some examples of that being thrown into the chat. Heck, here's one about... we all know about getting harassed in enemy stadiums and whatnot. Before we go to the top of the hour break, though, we had a comment from, was it the Ocho?
Yes.
That had the comment of how many girls are running out to get Diana Taurasi jerseys these days?
Not nearly as many as are getting Caitlyn Clark jersey.
No doubt.
That's the point. I mean, just, all right, so, and I thought that was a brilliant comment from him.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to just think about how the NBA came to its popularity. Because of Michael. It was popular with Magic. It was popular with Bird, but it was still regional. You still had the finals on tape delay. And then Michael showed up. And Michael had Nike, and Michael had Air Jordans, and Michael had McDonald's, and he had all of these things. And over the course of time, the NBA got more popular. And you started building stars off of Michael. Think about the stars at the time and think about how many of them were really close to Michael. I'm just saying. That's the path. That's how this works. You find a star, and then you build stars off that star with rivalries and things like that. What you don't do is, well, you got to earn your stripes. And she already earned her stripes. She's done more for this league in 13 games, 12 games, than the rest of you have done for it combined. Congratulations. And that's not an opinion. It's a fact. You find me the other person that sold out an NBA arena, I'll wait. You just broke an attendance record that was 17 years old with two teams whose combined record was 3-21. I promise you, Washington did not show up to see a team that can't sell out a 4,200-seat arena.
It's going to be real interesting to see the comments after the numbers come in on the viewership of the U.S. women's national team as they, try to compete for a gold medal without the biggest star in the sports. And I'm just find it really odd that you decided to go that route and leave her at home. You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. We got football coming up next.
Don't let dental pain ruin your day.
And we're clear.
Cosmetic and Family Dentistry find relief and get you back to smiling comfortably. You can read all about Dr. Rebecca Merrill, all the services they offer online at AshevilleSmiles.com. They are more than just general family dentistry, y'all. They offer cosmetic surgery, dental veneers, Invisalign, dental implants, emergency care, sleep apnea screenings, dentures, Botox, and so much more. Find out more online at AshevilleSmiles.com, a world-class dental care with a hometown feel.
Join us for our iHeartRadio album release party with John Bon Jovi. Celebrating the launch of Bon Jovi's new album, Forever, presented by Hulu. You'll hear all about the new album. Legendary. As part of an exclusive interview.
That's the magic of songwriting. I literally was staring out the window. I was like, oh, there it is. That's the magic. When it happens, you don't know where it comes from or why.
Watch on iHeartRadio's YouTube channel now.
Our state's future begins with our students. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery has contributed over $10 billion to education. Through scholarships, school construction, support staff, and pre-K programs, lottery dollars move our state forward, helping students become the best versions of themselves. Visit movingncstudentsforward.com and share how your student or school community has benefited for a chance to earn $2,000 for your story. Must be 18 to play. Problem Gambling Helpline 877-718-5543.
This is the best time for being outdoors, but not if your knees, shoulders, backs, or hips are hurting. Don't suffer any longer. Non-surgical joint pain relief is here at QC Kinetics. Call them today. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. I'm talking lasting joint pain relief with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. QC Kinetics advanced treatments harness your own body's ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue so you can walk and run and hike and play golf and move again pain-free. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of former orthopedic surgeon Dr. Mitchell Shinecup, a true pioneer in regenerative medicine. Their advanced protocols have enabled tens of thousands of patients to reclaim their mobility. Stop putting it off. Take action now and live your best life again. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. Call 828-333-9517 in Asheville and Greenville. That's 828-333-9517 in Asheville and Greenville.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at ClarissaSellsWNC.com. And did I mention that Clarissa Sells WNC loves teachers? We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or ClarissaSellsWNC@gmail.com.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN Asheville.
Looking good now as we get into the afternoon. High pressure is going to be in and some great outdoor weather over the next few days. Warm up coming by the end of the week. We're close to 90, and I think it's going to stay dry for the rest of the week. Sunny today, 78. Tonight, the low 50s. Some 40s out in some of our cooler spots. Clear sky. Little patchy fog early tomorrow, then sunshine, upper 70s. Wednesday, warmer, sunny, 85. Thursday, Friday, mostly sunny, close to 90. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Summit Racing Equipment.
Grab great gearhead gifts your dad will love, like tools, parts, and collectibles, or give the perfect card, a Summit Racing gift card. Shop summitracing.com. Use promo code RADIO for $10 off an order of $100 or more. Exclusions apply. Offer ends June 23rd, 2024.
Zero Res Carpet and Air Duct Cleaning's hottest summer sale is going on now. 15% off all cleaning services. Mention ESPN Asheville and you'll get 15% off your next service. Use promo code SUMMERSALE when scheduling online at zeroresasheville.com.
Last season, millions tuned into the Betrayal podcast to hear a shocking story of deception. I'm Andrea Gunning, and now we're sharing an all-new story of betrayal. Justin Rutherford. Doctor, father, family man. It was the perfect cover to hide behind.
I was just like, what in the world is going on?
Listen to Betrayal on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Betrayal and start listening.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Right now you're thinking, Comparion? Never heard of them. We know. We also know that you have no idea that Comparion Insurance agents are local and provide...
All right, I got 30 seconds left in this break with the ID, and there's a cue to call.
Local agents know you and your community. Our local agents offer insurance from top carriers. Our local agents have minty fresh breath.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com. Comparion Insurance Agency. Local agents, expert advice.
And there's number 4.
ESPN Asheville is WPEK W225CJ Fairview,
WMFX Waynesville,
an iHeart radio station, the exclusive audio home of NBC's coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympics.
Now, your chance at $1,000 and a trip to our iHeartRadio Music Festival. Text the nationwide keyword Vegas to 200-200. You'll get a confirmation text and info. Standard data and message rates apply in this nationwide contest. That's Vegas to 200-200.
The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingalls studio.
It is ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. The Sportsocracy is live from the Ingalls studio, and we're heard everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. You can take us with you everywhere you go, live or on demand. And, of course, you can watch us on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com. Click that live video link, subscribe to the channel, and that way you can join us in the YouTube chat, get your thoughts of the day in on the program. Lots of super chatting going on. Still, we are throwing the super chats out to our good friend Brian Haynes, dealing with a medical issue, and we're just still continuing to wish him all the best recoveries and the best that we can give, and we want to give him any support that we can. So if you want to help out, you can super chat, and the proceeds will go to helping Brian with his recovery.
There's also a GoFundMe that I'll share the link to in the chat, and I'll be sharing that on our Facebook this afternoon. They had there was something about it was taken down for a little bit because they had to make sure it was all allocated the right way. But I met with Brian's dad on Friday, and that's all situated, and we are good to go there.
Very good. Again, all our thoughts and prayers are with Football Farley, and we need you to get better, my man. Football top 13s or summer scouting, Jeremy? Which would you like to do?
It's up to you. I'm ready either way.
All right. Well, let's focus in on the summer scouting of the 2025 NFL draft class, college football running backs. We did the run stuffers right on Friday.
We did the linemen.
Or the linemen, excuse me. That's what it was. It was the offensive and defensive linemen on Friday. Looking forward to this upcoming season. We did NFL running backs, so it's the flip side of that today. Let's talk about running backs going into this year in college football.
You remember how bad last year's running back class was?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have that problem this year.
No.
Because they're all coming out this year.
All right, so where do we start? Who's the one? Who's the potential, or is there a potential first round draft pick here?
Is there a potential? Yes, there is a potential. I would say there are two that have a shot to go in the first round, and that would be Ollie Gordon is my one. I mean, in terms of, and some people will say, oh, he's a college running back. Look at the history of Oklahoma State running backs outside of Barry Sanders. I don't really care. Watch him play. I mean, he's got an NFL body. He's got an NFL build. He looks like an NFL running back, and he's one of the best college running backs I've ever seen. Now, here's where the problem comes in. And when you hear people say that he's a college guy and it's not going to translate, the reason is because I've never really seen him do the ancillary things. Because there is a possibility that the Chuba Hubbard thing kind of follows him. Because he's not asked to pass block. He's not asked to catch passes out of the backfield. So you really haven't seen him do it. Does that mean he can't do it? No. But it is something that you have to keep in the back of your head.
Right. So when it comes to doing all of the things that a modern NFL running back is tasked to do, or you would like to have them do, he just doesn't have the tape, the evidence that he can do all that.
No. I mean, and look, the difference, and I feel this question coming, so I'm going to try to get out in front of it before somebody asks it. The difference between him and Chuba Hubbard is that I have seen, first of all, he's a better runner. So that's the end-all, be-all. I have actually seen him be effective in pass pro. He just doesn't do it very often. They don't ask him to do that because he is the bell cow of that offense. And don't quote me on this because I don't have the number in front of me. He's played just over 1,000 snaps in college. And I'm trying to find now. I'll get the stat. It's insane when you actually hear it, of how many snaps he's played that he didn't get the football, because it's not nearly as many as you would think. Let's see. He has played.
Okay, so like when he's on the field, it's in his hands.
He has played 1,006 snaps. He has over 400 touches.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. That means his touch rate is almost 50% of the time he's on the field. So, I mean, when that's the case, you just don't really get the opportunity to see what a guy does outside of that. And he's only got 50 catches in his career, 51. The rest of them are all carries. And he did it predominantly in 1 year.
He's got a whole lot of touchdowns, though.
He does.
21 last year on the way to the Doak Walker Award. Is he shifty enough?
He's certainly shifty enough.
Between the tackles runner to have success.
He's certainly shifty enough. The problem with him is that I don't know that he is as long range fast. So he could be one of those guys that you see come into the combine and the time is just not overly impressive. Mm-hmm. I think that's what would keep him out of that discussion. But I mean, he has the talent for sure.
What is a bad number? What's a bad running back number now? We know obviously like the 4.7 that who was that? Kyron Williams.
Kyron Williams, 4.67
was awful.
But I mean, you see how much that's held him back in the NFL.
Oh yeah, it's been a complete detriment.
I don't worry as much about long speed. A lot of NFL teams do, because they want a guy, if he can get to the edge, it has to be a house call. And you're going to have guys in this class that, I mean, you're going to see some fast times out of running backs. Travion Henderson is going to run real fast. Nick Singleton is going to run real fast. But if this past class teaches you anything, yes, it matters, but it's not the end-all be-all. If it was, Jalen Wright would have gone in the second round. He didn't. We all lost our minds about that. The scouts didn't.
So Ollie Gordon is the back to watch.
He's my one.
All right, so who's the next one that could be a first-round pick?
Quinshon Judkins. His good is really, really good. He is going to fall into a very basic problem. What's the one thing you worry most about with running backs? Why do they not go in the first round? Why are they not as valuable to teams?
Durability.
And what does that come from? Tote. Guys that have too much tote.
Mm-hmm.
Quinshon Judkins will have over 1,000 college touches by the time it's all said and done. He will be at least 300 to 400 ahead of Ollie Gordon or Marion Hampton or Trevor Etienne. You feel like Trevor Etienne's been in college forever, right?
Yeah, it feels like.
Feel like he's. How many snaps has he played in his entire college career? This is the number one number that stood out to me because I didn't believe it was true at first.
I don't know. It's 750.
You're too high. It's 593.
Ooh. Okay.
Quinshon Judkins is already at 1250 in 2 years.
Yep.
He will be over 2,000 by the time it's all said and done. And I fully believe that, even with him at Ohio State. Him and Travion Henderson, they're going to split that workload. I still will bet you he gets to 1,900 at the lowest.
So overusage is a concern.
It is, but I think he is good enough that I don't think he's going to go in the first round. I don't think you'll ever see – I shouldn't say you're never going to see another running back go that high. Bijan Robinson was a different animal because he was as good of a pass catcher as he was running back. I don't see anybody in the pipeline that fits into that description. Because you've segmented the role of running back to such a point. All right, I'll give you the perfect example. 2 of my top 6 running backs in this class play for the same school. Michigan just had a guy go in the 3rd round. They have another one that'll go in the 2nd day next year. They were in the same backfield together, and they have another one that probably we'll be talking about 2 years from now. You just don't see anybody that does it all. So every one of these guys, I have a knock on, well, they're a really good receiving back, but I don't know how much they can do between the tackles. Or they're really good between the tackles, but I don't know if they can pass pro, and I don't know if they can catch.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really see a guy in the next 2 classes specifically that jumps out to me as that's a bell cow. That's a workhorse. Quinshon Judkins is probably the closest, but I worry about tread on his tires.
Judkins going off to Ohio State. One of the reasons that you just look at that team and go, good Lord, they are going to hurt people's feelings this year.
It's the most talented college football team I've ever seen. The problem is that you're not great at the one position that matters the most.
Yes. Travion Henderson can't be far behind on this list.
He's 7.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I like him a lot as a college back. He has all of the negatives that I just said about Quinshon Judkins, even to a higher level. He has played a lot of snaps. He has had a lot of nagging injury issues.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just not sure that what he does is going to age all that well. He's really short. He's listed at 5'10". I got news for you. He is not 5'10". He's thickly built. 5'10"? I think he can be really good in the passing game, but that's what I see him as. And that's how I think they're going to use him at Ohio State. I think because I'm looking at that receiving core going, you've got Emeka Egbuka. You don't have a whole lot of known quantities outside of that. I don't think you're very good at quarterback. But you got 2 running backs that can both catch out of the backfield. I could easily see a path that Henderson and Judkins combine for 150, 160 catches. 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 160 And you just run that pre-snap motion, a lot of stuff out of the backfield. But every time you do that, that's even a different collision at times than you're getting with the guy that runs between the guards. I at least have protection here. You hit me on that swing pass and a linebacker snuffs it out, I'm going to get drilled.
Yes.
And no matter how good you are, that's going to happen from time to time. And I've always said, for every one of those hits you take, that's basically a whole game's worth of tote that it's wearing off your longevity.
Yeah, I mean, Will Howard may not be he may not be the sharpest knife in the drawer as far as talent and arm strength and all of those things, but I mean, the guy's going to have 7 targets on every play that he can just pick from. So I don't worry too much about Ohio State. I mean, when it comes to national championship, getting into the college football playoff and actually succeeding in the playoff, Will Howard, we can have that discussion at that point. But for now, I feel like they're going to be just fine with the veteran quarterback and these 2 stud running backs that, well, they are 2 of the ones to watch going into this next football season. So who is number 3 on your list if it's not Travion?
Well, this is where it gets a little, and I'm afraid you're going to tell me I'm doing that same thing that you accused me of with Jackson Dart, which is I've gotten locked in on a guy, and now I can't see the forest for the trees. It's Nick Singleton out of Penn State.
You have no qualms from me.
I think he is an absolute dog.
I do too.
A lot of people are not as high on him. He is super thick. If you had to guess his height and weight, what would you say they were?
I would say he's got to be right at like 6'1", 215-ish.
He's 6 foot 235.
Okay, yeah,
and he's going to be one of the fastest backs in this class.
Yeah, he is hell on wheels, and he's been making plays since his freshman year. I like Nick Singleton, and I believe that he is a guy that somebody will snap up in the late second round, early third round, if that.
I think there's a great chance that NFL scouts are going to fall more in love with him than college football fans do.
Yeah, right.
Because he has one great big problem that I have to be honest here and say I haven't seen a lot of college backs that do this, that translate really well to the next level. Nick Singleton does not understand. Sometimes you got 3 yards. Sometimes they're not all going to be home runs. He does not understand that. And he will see a play break down and will try to flip field or spin out and wind up taking a 3-yard gain and turn it into a 4-yard loss. That is really dangerous. Now, I have a belief as to why he does that, which is that offense is just so bad. I mean, Penn State's been horrific offensively. They can beat up on the Indianas. They're not Iowa bad, but they're close. Now, I could see a path that gets a little bit better this year. They have talent that I like. I don't believe in that offensive system at all.
Nick Singleton at 228 pounds ran a 4.3940 in the offseason.
That's unofficial, but
it is unofficial. He's on your Bruce Feldman's freak list. Yikes. And he's super strong as well.
He does everything well.
Benches 425.
Yeah.
Power cleans 385.
Yeah, he's not of this world. He reminds me a lot of Braylon Allen that the Jets just drafted, who I have quickly fallen in love with. Because he's young and he's freakishly strong. Then you add in the speed. You have every trait that I could ever want. The problem is, why do I not see it more? With Braylon Allen, I can't really answer that one for you. With Nick Singleton, I can, because I have a quarterback that has all the talent in the world, and I'm not sure he could routinely hit the broadside of a barn.
Yep. Nick Singleton, number 3 on Flostradamus's running backs to watch going into this college football season. Our summer scouting sessions in the Sportsocracy continue after this here on ESPN Asheville.
Houston, permission to detach boosters.
And we're clear.
You're off course for the moon. Sensors show something massive. Did you bring additional items?
Only the new loaded scratch-offs.
Those are loaded with $50, $100, $500, and $2,000 prizes. You're on a trajectory towards Mars.
Nice. First person on Mars. Take that, billionaires.
New loaded scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Massive amounts of prizes. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.8 to 4.88. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Right now you're thinking, Comparion, never heard of them. We know. We also know that you have no idea that Comparion Insurance agents are local and provide expert advice. So to help it stick, we're going to say local agent 4 times in the next 15 seconds. Ready? Go. Our local agents know you and your community. Our local agents offer insurance from top carriers. Our local agents have minty fresh breath.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com. Comparion Insurance Agency. Local agents, expert advice.
And there's number 4.
What was that? That is business phone bliss with the Ooma Cloud phone system. It handles all our voice, video, and messaging needs.
You sound very...
Calm, I am. Ooma has everything I need to run my business more efficiently, like virtual receptionist, call routing, and video conferencing. And it starts at just $19.95 per month per user, plus taxes and fees.
Ooma.
Nice. Find your business calm at ooma.com/radio.
I'm a pretty great multitasker. I can wash dishes and do laundry. I can roller skate while walking my dog. I can even order lunch while doing my homework. But I can't use my phone while driving. A distracted driver is one of the leading causes of death in the United States. So when it comes to driving, please, don't be a multitasker.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
While some streaming companies keep raising their prices, the iHeartRadio app is still free. And free never sounded so good. Thousands of radio stations from all over the country playing your favorite music, 500,000 podcasts, thousands of playlists for every mood, over 100 commercial-free music channels, and over 100 million songs to fill your favorite playlist. Download the always free iHeartRadio app and start listening now.
If cleanliness is next to godliness, look around the car right now. Is that very godly? Look, life comes at you fast, but so does WNC Auto Detailing. They have the tools to make your interior look like it's coming off the showroom floor. You don't believe me? Check them out on Instagram. All that filth and years of stains disappear. WNC Auto Detailing does full interior and exterior details with paint correction, and they do wax and ceramic coatings. Call WNC Auto Detailing at 455-3700. Premium care with a Southern hospitality touch.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
The Sportsocracy.
Why are you smiling? Because I love football.
We are back in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville Summer Scouting Series, looking at the biggest prospects in the 2025 NFL Draft. I don't think we've gotten to one that we're actually going to see on our Living the Dream tour yet. Do we have one of those coming?
It's about time for one of those. It's number 4. American Hampton from North Carolina.
There we go. He lights it up all over the place. Kid's blazing fast, and I love his vision. His whole selection is impeccable.
This is where I have to be real honest about how you scout running backs. If I was going off the tape that I've already seen, he should be at worst 2. Now, we have a bit of a problem.
What's that?
Which is the way he runs and all of the good things that I have seen him do are greatly benefited by having Drake May. Well, Drake May now plays for the New England Patriots. I am not sure that you're going to see, because some of the best tape I saw of him was running out of that shotgun draw. It's not quite that mesh concept that they ran at Wake Forest, but it's kind of close. And you were so afraid that Drake May might tuck it and run that I feel like that propped up Marion Hampton a little bit. Well, Max Johnson, I love him, and I just adore his dad, but he's not the runner that Drake May is.
Right.
And so that's not that same scheme is not going to work. The question is, can Marion Hampton be the best player on an offense? And that's what you're going to learn this year. I'm not saying he can't do it. I actually firmly believe he can do it. I just haven't seen him do it.
It's the one position where they're pretty good at running back.
Oh, no doubt.
And Amarian Hampton is a big reason for that. I've been impressed with his play since he started at Carolina. And is he elite fast for this class?
No, you're going to have a bunch of guys in this class, I think, that are similar physically, because we don't have a ton of really small backs. Although the next two, neither one of them is real tall. You don't have a ton of size issues. You've also got a lot of guys that athletically kind of profile the same way. I think that's why I like Nick Singleton so much, because he's the outlier. He's bigger than everybody, and I think he's faster than everybody too. So for me, when I watch him, I go, there's more potential there, and he strikes me as the guy, kind of like, I like that you said Kyron Williams earlier. They're completely different guys, but I could easily see a path that you just went to the wrong school, specifically at the wrong time, and you had no threat in the passing game, and so you're really kind of getting covered up. I don't think that Amarian Hampton has that problem. He might have it this year, though.
Yeah. No, you said two shorties.
I did. I skipped one.
Number 5.
I skipped one. Donovan Edwards is not the short feller.
Yeah, he's not little.
No, he's not little. I have him at 5. Then Ashton Gianti is at 6. Travion Henderson was at 7, and Trevor Etienne's at 8. And the Gianti out of Boise State and Trevor Etienne are both 5'9", and I think that's a Tank Spencer 5'9". Were you standing on a phone book, or were you wearing a pair of high heels when you got measured? Because I don't think either one of you were that tall.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll just go in order here. Donovan Edwards, the biggest question with him is going to be speed. The biggest question with him is going to be, you've played behind an elite offensive line. He's another one that I think you're going to get a real good idea of what he is real early at Michigan, because now you don't have J.J. McCarthy. Now you don't have Blake Corum. You're the dude. And this offense is going to get dropped right in his lap a lot. And I'm not 100% sure that you're going to live up to that role. Look, Donovan Edwards has played 36 games. He's played 755 snaps total. Think about what I just said. That means you're averaging just north of 20 snaps a game. You don't even make it all the way to 21.
You never had to be the guy.
He never had to be the guy. Now,
I always had Corum.
Now, there's a blessing and a curse there, which is he does have tread on the tires, and there could be – I mean, look, the thought that Donovan Edwards could win the Doak this year, I don't think that's outlandish in any way. If Michigan stays high-end nationally relevant, he will have a lot to do with it. Because I don't really believe much in the quarterback situation.
And they'll continue to pound the rock.
It's a big ask. It's a big ask because you lost a lot. Michigan lost a ton of production off that offense.
But a lot's going to fall on his shoulders.
I'm not sure there was a player in this past draft class. I don't think there was a player in this past draft class that came back that surprised me more than Donovan Edwards. I'm just not sure what you can do to help your stock.
Yeah.
Because now you have no quarterback. You have no Blake Corum. You have no Roman Wilson. The line just got absolutely annihilated. That's a lot to lose. I mean, you're betting on yourself because if he comes back and has an elite high-end year, he could go in the first round. I don't think he's going to, because then that gets into the it's almost like a bell curve of, okay, so you did all of these things. You had a high-end snap year, but now you're at 1,500 snaps in your college career. You had this great last year, but now you're a year older than everybody else. And I just don't know how much tread you're going to have left. That's one of the hardest things about running backs.
But if that boosts my stock enough for me to get, that first round bid or that first round nod, then it was all worth it, wasn't it? There was a good question that was asked in the YouTube comments that I think we should take a break. We'll come back. We'll do the weird news, and then I want to attack this question here that came from Rich Vital, who said, if you're a college running back and you're getting NIL money and you're not one of the top running backs for the NFL, is that a question? Would you not just stay in college? Part of me thinks that is a no-brainer. There's a lot of money to be made at this level, and maybe that's the path for me. If they're going to keep limiting what I can make at the next level, can what I get at the college level be somewhat of a mitigator to that?
And there's a reason. There's a reason that I disagree with that. We got to take a break.
Yep.
When we come back, we'll really dig into that and get the rest of the backs in this class, because there are still some really talented dudes that deserve your eyeballs this fall.
Yep. Summer scouting continuing here in the Sportsocracy with the best running backs of the 2025 NFL draft class after this.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scan.
Clear.
On ESPN Asheville.
Thank you.
Looking good now as we get into the afternoon. High pressure is going to be in and some great outdoor weather over the next few days. Warm up coming by the end of the week. We're close to 90, and I think it's going to stay dry for the rest of the week. Sunny today, 78. Tonight in the low 50s. Some 40s out in some of our cooler spots. Clear sky. Little patchy fog early tomorrow, then sunshine, upper 70s. Wednesday, warmer, sunny, 85. Thursday, Friday, mostly sunny, close to 90. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Macy's. Find the perfect Father's Day gift with Macy's Gift Finder. In just a couple clicks, you'll get personalized gift ideas for every dad at every budget. Visit Macy's.com/gift finder and give love today at Macy's.
As the nation's leader in using orthobiologics to deal with joint pain, QC Kinetics has treated tens of thousands of patients. For many of them, that treatment comes with a plan to lose weight, as we know that keeping a healthy weight puts less strain on your joints. So, now to help patients lose weight in the fastest and most effective way, QC Kinetics is excited to offer newly approved injectables for those who qualify. If your weight is keeping you from living your best life, call QC Kinetics now and learn more about these next-generation weight loss options, including semaglutide and tirzepatide.
We're still on the screen again.
Feel better by getting back to your ideal weight, call the medical professionals at QC Kinetics to see if you qualify for these revolutionary and effective treatments. QC is making these amazing options accessible and affordable, and it starts with a free consultation. Call 833-QCK-SLIM to get yours today. 833-QCK-SLIM. 833-QCK-SLIM.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com, your one-stop custom apparel shops.
With WWNC, you can have traffic reports in your bedroom.
Get the latest traffic updates anywhere you've got a smart speaker.
Forgot to take us off the
Find out about your
screen
drive
again.
before you even get in the car.
Yep.
You should probably tell me when you noticed that.
I did.
Anniversary, it's the Highland Brewing.
I did. You weren't listening.
Oh, I had taken my headphones off. I forgot about that.
I looked up and I noticed. I was like, "Yeah, we're just gonna sit here.
Just gonna sit here. You
Past
just
the
watch
Nature
me
Center
reading
and
my
back
phone."
into the brewery. There's a costume contest with prizes, and this year's theme is flight. 100% of the proceeds go to Connect Buncombe. For more information and to get signed up, go to highlandbrewing.com. highlandbrewing.com. Brought to you in part by Parsons Law and proudly sponsored by iHeartMedia Asheville.
Did you know Ingalls only sells USDA Choice and Prime cuts of meat? Maybe it's time to reward yourself. Our butchers cut all our meat fresh in the store every day. Grass-fed, organic, you name it. Not only that, we'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. And we grind meat fresh in the store multiple times a day. It's all in the bag. That's the best meat in town for the best folks in town. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
On the weird scale, there's Vegas, there's Florida, and there's Asheville. Let's get weird, Asheville.
We're back in the Sportsocracy. This is ESPN Asheville, and for my weird portion of today's program, I want to focus on weird sports here for just a second. First off, it's not a weird sport per se. A lot of us watch it, a lot of us play it, but we don't ever really talk about it, and I feel like we should at least shout out Scotty Scheffler because he set a record this weekend. Not only did he become the only golfer other than Tiger Woods to have won, what was it, the Memorial, the Masters, the Arnold Palmer, and there was another one. What was the other one? He's already won 5 tournaments this year. That's why it's hard for me to remember which one it was. But the only one to win those tournaments in the same year other than Tiger Woods. And he's already set the record for winnings in a season. And we're 8 events in. Is this because of the boost and the money is that big? Or just because
yes.
I mean, it's rarely that we see
right
somebody win all of these.
Yeah, Tiger Woods won 11 tournaments in a year.
Uh-huh.
And he wasn't even in the ballpark of where Scotty's headed. Yeah, the money has gotten insane. Look, I'm going to give...
Well, I mean, Scotty's already got the record. I mean, he set the record last year, winning $23 million in a year, and now he's at $24 million with the win at the Memorial.
And if he were to win the FedEx, he would set that number at a place that it will probably never be touched again. But I mean, his biggest win was in Louisville, Kentucky, when we figured out that that cop was not necessarily telling the whole story.
Yeah. $4 million he won this weekend. Again, bringing the total to $24 million on the season. Now, did you see the big defeat of the weekend was Laura Garcia Caro? She lost, and in the most embarrassing fashion, and probably at the most embarrassing sport. She's from Spain, and she was coming down to the stretch at the European Athletics Championships on Friday when she was ahead of the second-place person in her race. She lifted the fist to the sky. She was checking the cape, the flag of the cape on her. So it's all looking pretty for the finish line. Well, as she was bringing the hand up, she noticed there was a blur go past her. It was a speed walking race. She got out speed walked because she was celebrating too much.
What are the rules of that? I've seen that before. I would not be able to resist the urge to just take off running.
Yeah, you can't break into a full run, right? You can't break into a jog. I don't know what the motion is, but everybody has to have that swish hip motion. Just shh. It's kind of like cross-country skiing, just shuffling across the track.
So basically, you have to look like all the people with headbands at the Asheville Mall at about 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
For the longest time, I thought that was all that showed up at the Asheville Mall before noon. And I'm still not 100% sure it's not.
The agony of defeat in the speed walking championships.
Yeah, that would that would be bad. I got beat walking because I celebrated too early. You know what your celebration should have been? Quitting. Like, I don't do this anymore, and I'm the biggest winner of them all. My story is about Shohei Ohtani, more specifically his interpreter, Ipe Mizahura. I know I'm not pronouncing that correctly, but that's how it's spelled, so that's what I'm going with. I had never seen the number on how much money he actually lost. Have you seen this?
No.
His total losses amounted to $183 million. He won $142 million and was flat broke. There are some people that should gamble. There are some people that aren't, but that's not why I'm telling this story.
Yeah, I was going to say you said he lost 182?
183. He won 142.
Yeah, how did you win 142 if you lost 183? That means you lost 40 or whatever.
Yep, he did. 3 words, and it's 3 words that you should never, ever, ever gamble with. Credit, bruh. Don't bet on credit ever. That is how you end up in a Tony Soprano movie.
Yes.
It's also how you end up doing what I'm getting ready to say. So apparently, Mr. Mezahura he had found a new job whilst he's awaiting trial in Los Angeles County. And frankly, I would be taking my bets as well, because I don't think prosecutors at this point in certain big cities are necessarily as judicious as they used to be. But he found a new job, and he was gainfully employed as an Uber Eats driver. Yeah, then the New York Post posted pictures of him that I don't know exactly where they had gotten them from. A couple of them were coming outside of the courthouse. Uber Eats didn't know who he was. As soon as they found out, they fired him. But there was a small little revelation in that kind of struck me. So Uber Eats put out a statement that said, Mizahura has been an Uber Eats courier for a few years. Given these recent charges, he no longer has access to the platform. Come again for Judge Fudge? He's been an Uber Eats carrier for a few years? So you're telling me when Shohei signs that gigantic deal with the Dodgers, and he shows up to translate this, when he left, he was picking up Bennigan's and Outback Steakhouse for people in Los Angeles County. That is a serious gambling problem.
Yep. And we've got breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
All right, breaking news from Adrian Wojnarowski at Woj ESPN. Breaking news, Connecticut's Dan Hurley has turned down the Los Angeles Lakers' 6-year, $70 million offer and will return to chase a 3rd straight national title at UConn.
Let's go.
LA would have made him one of the NBA's 6 highest paid coaches. And now he says, I'm good. I'm staying in college, and you can take your $70 million and shove it.
Okay.
That is.
And this ain't hard
wonderful
to figure out. You got beat by the money. He would leave because of the financial security. So if you offered him 6 years, $70 million, I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's not fully guaranteed. Because no coach is fully guaranteed. There are escalators and all kinds of things in those deals.
Mm-hmm.
I thought this would be an 8-year, $100 million deal with $75 million guaranteed. He would not have turned that down. He thought about this too hard. If he thought about that, all you had to do was come off the money, and they didn't do it. And now, oh boy, where do you turn now? How do you go back to the dudes that you had already interviewed and go, so, we always loved you so much.
It's a nightmare for LA. I mean, where do you
this is a disaster.
Now
because
you
now
go
you can't go
Redick
James Borrego.
Right. Who's the other one that the Kenny Atkinson?
J.J. Redick.
Mm-hmm. We're going to add this to the long list of names that have just rotated through this door. It's the one opportunity that you had. I would love to know what the inside of those rooms was like. Trying to convince Dan Hurley that this is the place, that the NBA is the place for your hard-nosed, old-school program.
I mean, I feel like that's got to be the reason that he turned this down.
I mean, I would have to think. When I
Is
first
that he's
heard
afraid
it,
that
I
it's
was like,
just
yeah,
not
he's
gonna
a
work.
great coach, but is this really is it translatable? Right? Is his coaching style, does it translate? Will it resonate with the players in the locker room? Will the style resonate with the league? Will you be able to win championships that way? Because if you're not winning championships, you're not going to last long, especially in a market like LA. That's why we've had the rotating door.
Well, I mean, you get this is a disaster for him too, right?
I don't know that it is. I get to go back to college, and next NBA job that opens up, maybe I'll be interested.
And there's
maybe
the
I
problem.
won't.
And there's the problem.
What? Why is that a problem?
So the thing that has made UConn so successful is the pipeline of talent.
Mm-hmm.
It's having the offensive scheme. It's having the guys to fit that. Do you realize how easy it is to negatively recruit him now? I mean, and look, I'm not saying that he's going to be losing guys to DePaul. I'm saying that if I'm Hubert Davis, I would be making a run at every single player that had UConn in their top side of the wish list.
Mm-hmm.
I'm as safe here as anybody on the planet. John Shire, same thing. Mark Pope at Kentucky, same thing. I will absolutely negatively recruit you to death. That's the reason. Stephen Tao said I laughed at him when it said he was leveraging UConn. This wasn't a leverage thing. If it was a leverage thing, you would have never found out about it. When you leverage a team, you don't, and in college specifically, you don't let this get out. 18-year-old kids are fickle. 17-year-old kids are fickler. So this coach that I'm committed to that's been recruiting me for 3 years, he's looking all around. That's probably enough for me to go, I'm good. I'm good. I'll go to Carolina or to Kansas or one of these places that is more committed because of exactly what the first thing you said was the next time an NBA job opens, maybe I'll be interested. That'll be the number one thing I say to every recruit that UConn talks to.
We have not heard from Dan Hurley. I can't wait for his press conference. The press conference is hopefully going to be. I can't imagine what the response is going to be. What his, how is he going to play this? Is this going to be I'm not interested in the NBA, or is this going to be more of a now's not the time?
Well, he can't say he's not interested in the NBA. I mean, he said years ago he would be interested in one day coaching the NBA, and you just flirted with the Lakers for no less than 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. I mean, hell, he was in LA all weekend, according to reports. He flew back
they last
were talking,
night.
Yeah, they were talking scheme with him. They were talking to what was it? He said they made a compelling case and for a compelling vision for his program in LA. But how does that translate to the NBA? That's been my question from the jump. There's no doubt that he's a great coach. No doubt that he's worth the $100 million that you floated, Jeremy, or definitely the 6 years, $70 million that the Lakers reportedly actually offered him.
Well, I mean,
He's
in terms
worth
of
all
per
that.
year, I was right there at it.
Yeah, you were. But does that work? Is it going to work in the NBA, and will the Lakers fans have – that's the bigger question. Will the Lakers brass and the Lakers fans have, time for him to build that program?
Well, I mean, now
however the NBA would see it.
Well, I mean, now the problem that I would have, Dan Hurley will survive just fine. He's going to have to really get away from this. And Tao asked, what if LA put the story out? Then he would have said he wasn't interested off the jump. He made it very clear that he was interested. He told the administration at UConn last Wednesday. He told the players on Thursday. You opened this door. Something went awry, and I can't get away from it's LeBron. I don't want to do this.
Yeah.
If LeBron James wasn't on that team, do you think he would have taken this job? Because I do.
Yes, I do.
I think he would have taken this job if you told me definitively LeBron's out the door. I don't have to deal with his kid.
I mean, could you imagine head standing in a screen like he does with some of his players? Like, I've seen him lose his mind on the sideline.
Oh, he's a screamer for sure.
He is absolutely a screamer. Oh. That would be quite uncomfortable, I would say. Because the first time he does that, it's going to hit the fan. Right? This becomes the story now of LeBron's out to get his coach again.
Oh, I mean, I'm sad it's not happening. Personally, I'm really sad it's not happening. Because I think it would have been a lot of fun to watch. And now I just look at L.A. and go, how are you supposed to sell the next guy? Who in the world could you hire that's even vaguely sellable?
I don't know.
I have a name.
Quinn Snyder?
I have a name.
Okay, what's your name?
I have a name, and you mark my words that I might be the first person you hear say this. Mm-hmm. I'll bet anything you want I won't be the last. Jay Wright.
Okay.
Jay Wright got out of college basketball because he got tired of the NIL. He got tired of all that. He's still a reasonably young guy. And I'll just go ahead and tell you, you're not going to convince me that LA can hire another assistant coach like they just did with Darvin Ham and sell that to the fan base. It's just not going to work. Now, for me, it's either JJ Redick or it's Jay Wright.
I guess Jay Wright is the biggest name that they could go out there and get.
I think he's the best coach they can go out there and get.
Yeah, but does he want it? Does he want to do the NBA thing? Or does he just want to keep doing basketball? Doing TV broadcasting?
Well, I mean...
It's much easier.
Well, it's much easier. It also doesn't pay nearly as well. Yeah. You bring in 6 years, $70 million to Jay Wright, and I go ahead and tell you, you'll be scheduling a press conference in about 4 hours. Because I don't know how much he's getting to do. He only does TV for the tournament, too.
Does he? I thought he was on like all year.
I think he appears on those Saturdays, but CBS doesn't do every Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, what could he possibly be making? I know what the guys on Inside the NBA are making. You couldn't convince me. If you spent all day and had a bang to try to convince me of this, you'll never convince me he makes half of what those dudes do.
Yes.
No shot. Which means, just, doing simple math in my head, he'd have to work for, I don't know, 30 years to make the $70 million he'd make from the Lakers.
Mm-hmm. Just pulled up a story here off of Awful Announcing that says, according to Mark Stein, former Villanova head coach Jay Wright could be a stealth candidate.
I would be shocked. See, this was the danger, and this was why I was so convinced that when the Lakers side of this with Dan Hurley came out, that we were further down the rabbit hole than it sounded. It's not good for either one of you. Because I've obviously made it very clear why I don't think this is good for Dan Hurley in an NIL age where you don't have the money that some of these other guys do. Dan Hurley, I mean, if you look at UConn, none of these guys he's recruiting are high-level recruits. So I think he might be able to get away from that. Because he's recruiting a ton of 3-stars. I think their recruiting class was like 40th in the country this year or something like that. If he's just building the brand and not necessarily chasing that same high-level 5-star recruit that the Carolinas and the Dukes and the Kansases are, okay, maybe you can survive that. The one that I didn't get it from is if you don't have his name on a dotted line or at least some kind of commitment, I don't see how LA let this get out of the building. Because James Borrego is quite a fall from Dan Hurley. And I love Sam Cassell. He is too.
Jay Wright is on the record of saying that he's been enjoying his broadcast career so much that he would not consider going back to coaching. However, money can always change minds. Money and the right opportunity.
Well,
tell me that I've got one last chance to make a winner in the NBA out of the Los Angeles Lakers, Anthony Davis and LeBron James. There are things to like about that opportunity. But the fact that the turnover in the NBA with coaches is so insane, I can't blame Dan Hurley for not wanting to be a part of it.
I don't think the NBA story is done. I will not be shocked if this turns into kind of the same thing that happened with Billy Donovan. If you remember when he jumped to Orlando and had that little flirtation, I don't remember how long he stayed at Florida, but it wasn't a great long time. He was getting called every single year. He was getting called by every team every single year until he finally just caved and went to Oklahoma City.
Yep.
And then he bounced around. He wound up in Chicago. He has no interest to go back to college. Dan Hurley is more of a program developer. So I'm kind of sounding this out in my head of how he got to this decision. And I'm trying to find a reason that doesn't start with an L and end in LeBron James. Because that, to me, is the big detraction.
Knowing that you'll have to put up with the circus of that for the next
Well, I mean, knowing that I've got to coach the coach annihilator.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and maybe this sounds a little crass, but it's true. You know, if you're in the dating pool and you meet somebody that's cheated on their last 5 spouses, you know what? I'm going to say you're probably a cheater. I mean, hey, maybe you picked really poorly and there were things going on behind the scenes. I have no idea. I'm not a moralist. But LeBron's had, 5 coaches in 7 years? That would be kind of hard for me to look at and go, but I'm sure it's all them. I'm sure he's a peach.
All right, the breaking news. Dan Hurley has said no to the Los Angeles Lakers and a 6-year, $70 million offer to return to UConn and try for a 3rd straight national championship. We'll take a quick break. When we return, we'll have some NFL football coming your way. We'll talk about run defenses in the league. The top 13 from Flostradamus is next.
Madame Giselle senses something.
And we're clear.
Thank you.
Is it a crash? Everything looks wet.
I'm going to be a swim teacher.
There's a roof.
A swim teacher who also does roofing.
No, the roof of your RV has a leak and it's ruining the furniture.
Oh, that's okay. I'm covered by Progressive. But maybe I'm a swim teaching roofer.
Back at 01.
Customize your coverage with Progressive's Roof Protection
10-4.
Plus and be prepared for the unexpected.
No Q.
Insurance company and affiliates. Roof Protection Plus available for RVs less than 6 years old. $250 deductible applies to any claim.
Spring is here, and so is fire season. Careless backyard burning is the leading cause of wildfires in our state. Follow these tips from the North Carolina Forest Service to burn responsibly. You are the best defense against wildfire. Never leave a fire unattended. Only burn with a valid permit and in areas without bans or restrictions. Don't burn on dry, windy days. Keep your burn pile small, not tall. Have a hose, bucket, steel rake, and shovel handy to toss dirt on a fire. Learn more at ncforestservice.gov. ncforestservice.gov.
Even if you take excellent care of your teeth and gums at home, you still need to see a dentist regularly. And at Asheville Smiles, they have all the latest and greatest technology, which is so important because they are able to catch issues quicker and diagnose more accurately. Many dental problems, they don't even become visible or cause pain until they are in more advanced stages. So when you are thinking about 2024, you need to make sure that you think about your overall health and make that dental appointment. World-class dental care with a hometown feel, it's AshevilleSmiles.com.
Make this month more special with free This Week entertainment picks from Xfinity. Celebrate Pride Month with premium LGBTQ+ networks like Reverie, Deku, and Out TV. For Black Music Month, watch concert performances by legendary artists of the past on Quest TV. Or revel in the hip-hop culture of today with Revolt. And no matter the occasion, iHeartRadio's Hip Hop Beats playlist has the soundtrack to all your good times. Xfinity has free entertainment for any celebration. Say free this week into your Xfinity voice remote.
Dads, always there for us through all the bumps in the road, whatever we put them through. At Ingalls, might we suggest this Father's Day giving Dad more than a necktie or monogrammed golf balls? Give him a hug and tell him you love him in your own special way. To the ones who've given so much to us, we say, Happy Father's Day, Dads. Ingalls. Low prices, love the savings.
This summer, Dale's Pale Ale salutes freedom. Freedom in fabric, or the fabric of freedom. Denim Dale's available for a limited time in the blue jean box. Dale's salutes everyone who works hard, plays hard, and relaxes hard. Life's more than about what you pack in your dinner. Though we're packing beer, so...
Okay, the honey roasted almond is almost as good as the habanero barbecue.
Style with a cool breeze up... Nice. Just look for the beer in the blue jean box.
This reminds me of the good old days when they'd give you peanuts on an airline flight.
Real estate in the mountains. You need to
before all
call
the Gen Zers showed up and started dying at the hand of nut.
Brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. And did I mention that?
Didn't they give us nuts on the flight?
No.
Didn't they give us? They gave us almonds on the flight.
Commission
on the first one they did,
yeah.
At
You used to get peanuts.
828-774-6343.
And they were honey roasted and they were
Clarissa
awesome.
Sells WNC at gmail.com.
This is your Exergen Temporal Scanner weather forecast on ESPN.
And then the peanut became the scourge of the 2000s and started wiping out populations, apparently.
Great outdoor weather over the next few days. Warm up coming by the end of the week. We're close to 90, and I think it's going to stay dry for the rest of the week. Sunny today, 78. Tonight in the low 50s, some 40s out in some of our cooler spots. Clear sky, little patchy fog early tomorrow, then sunshine.
Good God, these are getting better as I go.
Wednesday, warmer, sunny, 85.
They're like little
Friday,
nut
mostly
candy.
Sunny, close to 90. From the Weather Channel, I'm Ray Stajic.
This report is sponsored by Taco Bell. The Cravings Value Menu from Taco Bell. 10 items each for just $3. Cheesy double beef burrito, loaded beef nachos, and the 3-cheese chicken flatbread melt at participating U.S. stores while supplies last. Price varies, tax extra, double seasoned beef compared to the Burrito Supreme.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Right now you're thinking, Comparion, never heard of them. We know. We also know that you have no idea that Comparion Insurance agents are local and provide expert advice. So to help it stick, we're going to say local agent 4 times in the next 15 seconds. Ready? Go. Our local agents know you and your community. Our local agents offer insurance from top carriers. Our local agents have minty fresh breath.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com. Comparion Insurance Agency. Local agents, expert advice.
And there's number 4.
Houston, permission to detach boosters.
Negative, Commander. You're off course for the moon. Sensors show something massive on board. Did you bring additional items?
Only the new loaded scratch-offs.
Those are loaded with $50, $100, $500, and $2,000 prizes. You're on a trajectory towards Mars.
Nice. First person on Mars. Take that, billionaires.
New loaded scratch-offs from the North Carolina Education Lottery. Massive amounts of prizes. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.8 to 4.88. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
I think it's just vapor. Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as 1 pack of cigarettes. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
ESPN Asheville is WPEK W225CJ Fairview, WMFX Waynesville, an iHeart radio station, the exclusive audio home of NBC's coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympics. The Sportsocracy.
It fires me up, man. I love it. Say it one more time.
The Sportsocracy.
Shake it back!
Beer City's best sports talk.
It is gross.
Just earlier.
They are mature, actually. You just have to get to know them better.
Your lunchtime dose of dumbassery. Live from the Ingalls studio.
It is the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville 92.9 FM, 880 AM, 1400. The Sportsocracy is heard everywhere you go on the iHeart Radio app, and you can see us live on YouTube. Just go to thesportsocracy.com, click the live video link, subscribe to the channel, and that way you can join us in the chat. We are going to continue our position group breakdowns of the NFL going into the training camp portion of the schedule. I think we're still doing OTAs. I think that's still going on this week.
Oh yeah, Jets mandatory camp starts tomorrow, and we're on Hassan Reddick watch.
Oh, is he holding out?
Oh yeah, he didn't come to the voluntary because apparently his desire for a new contract was not just in Philadelphia.
Oh, awesome. So
and now, if you look at the history of Joe Douglas,
a new contract.
Say it one more time.
I said, so he signed with a new team and then immediately wants a new contract?
Well, he didn't sign with us. They traded him to us. So his contract carried to us. Now, I will give you $1 million if you can tell me the one player over 30 that Joe Douglas has signed to an extension since he's been the GM of the Jets. If you get this right, you're either cheated or a witch.
C.J. Mosley.
Nope. He signed before he turned 30.
Oh. Ooh, I don't know.
Ryan Griffin. That's the one 30-year-old that he assigned to an extension. It was 3 years, and he cut him after a year.
So I don't like his chances? Is that what you're saying?
I'm not going to say they're going to tell him to go, falafel down the road, but let's say it's going to be a bit of an arduous discussion if I were a betting man.
They're going to think about it, at least.
If we wanted to pay $50 million to a guy, we would have signed the young guy that we already had.
All right, we've been talking about running backs. We talked college running backs in the last hour. We talked about NFL running backs on Friday or Thursday, whenever that was, whenever we were last here.
That was Thursday. I know. The days tend to run together.
They do. Now it's time to talk about run stuffers. Right, run defenses, best ones in the league for 2024. Your number one run stuffing defense.
Well, I mean, it's hard for me to not say your Tampa Bay Buccaneers because they have been for what feels like 483 years. But they're not.
No.
It's not my team either. I know somebody's probably thinking, well, Quentin Williams was the highest graded run stuffer in the league last year. He was.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that there is I don't think there is a team that I look at and go, you're so good at this that you're far and away. I think it was Matthew Hoffman earlier really wanted me to defend him saying that the Jets were the best run defense in the league. I can't get there. They're the best pass defense in the league. They're definitely up there. But I keep coming back to Tampa Bay. I keep coming back to Houston. Now, Houston's is a little bit biased. You always have to avoid teams that are really good against the run, but it's because nobody has to do it because they can throw on you so easily. Like, all right, I don't know if you researched this going in. Top 3 defenses last year against the run in the NFL were who in terms of yards allowed per game?
I would say it was Cleveland.
Cleveland wasn't in the top 10.
Really?
Nope. They were 11.
Really?
The Jets weren't in the top 20.
Baltimore?
Oh, that's another one that wasn't in the top 10.
Was it Detroit? Because everybody threw on them.
There you go. Detroit was 2. Chicago was 1. San Francisco was 3. So my answer for who is number 1 is actually San Francisco. Now, do I have fears with no Eric Armstead? Yeah, I do. Because you went Eric Armstead to Malik Collins, and that's a step down.
It is a step down, but it's not massive, is it?
Oh, it's a step off a cliff to me.
I mean, Malik is a good run stuffer.
Malik's fine. He's fine at that one thing. The only problem is that now San Francisco had a defense that was absolutely no doubt can line up with you man on man and they played a lot of zone. But in terms of the Jimmies and the Joes, they just beat you. I don't worry about that defense as much now as I used to. But I still think having Javon Hargrave that's up there. And Malik Collins is good against the run. I worry about them against the pass more than I do with the run.
Yep. All right, so the number 1 run stuff in defense is San Francisco. And, I mean, it's not just about the guys up front either. I mean, Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner are, and hell, even Devondre Campbell. Those are dudes that, as a running back, I fear the second level of that defense.
Well, I mean, Fred Warner was top 5 in the NFL last year against the run at the linebacker position. And he was one of the only ones that didn't fall off a cliff when we got into coverage and pass rush.
I was going to say, well, what was he not top 5 at the linebacker position?
He was not a top 5 pass rusher, but he was close. He was not a top 5 cover guy, and he was not as close.
He was not.
Oh, no, that's not true. He was, and 2 of the guys they put at linebacker actually played safety. So, never mind. I'll shut up now. Fred Warner's awesome.
He is.
Yeah, Fred
He's
Warner's
incredible.
awesome. I mean, top 2 highest rated cover linebackers in the NFL were C.J. Mosley and Quincy Williams. No big deal. Now Jets had 1 and 2.
All right, so San Francisco is 1. Who's it 2?
All right. Tampa Bay is my 2, and let me explain why. When you look at all of the numbers, they don't look necessarily as good. I think they're going to be way harder to run on this year than they even have been in years past. Devin White not being there, it's a positive. He overran a lot of plays. And now I look at Tampa Bay and go, I'm not worried about you stopping the run. Vita Vea is still that dude. He was not as good last year as he had been in years past. But I feel like that's because he was trying to get upfield as a pass rusher more often and wasn't just setting the base because he didn't trust the linebackers back behind him. He trusted Levante, I think. Didn't trust Devin White as far as he could throw him. And it was really obvious when you watch them on tape.
And it's hard to knock out a guy who can deliver you some pass rush because you haven't been getting that, right? We saw we saw us cut ties with Shaq Barrett that ship had sailed. You know, he wasn't an elite pass rusher anymore. And
I keep forgetting he's in Miami.
Yeah, and every draft pick that you've had is just a bust. Joe Tryon Shoyinka as a pass rusher. Logan Hall. You haven't gotten much out of those guys.
Well, Logan Hall, you still got some time on. I'm just, are we finally ready for you to admit I was right on Joe Tryon Shoyinka?
You were. I mean, I was hoping. You always hope that the guy's going to turn into something.
Yeah, defecate in one hand, hoping the other, see which one fills up faster.
It's never done it. He's never done it, and he ain't going to do it. But Kalijah Kancey and Yaya Diaby, those are 2 guys that have been pretty good. And they're going to fit well into this offense, and it's one more portion of the run stuffer up front with Vita Vea. Levante David and KJ Brett behind them, and then probably the best run stuffing safety in the league in Antoine Winfield.
I would agree with that.
It's a lot of pieces. A lot of pieces that you could throw at somebody.
I think my 3 might catch you off guard.
Okay.
It's New England.
Really?
And they finished 4th in the league last year. And I mean, look, New England had one of the best defenses in the NFL. I mean, they finished, 6th, 7th total defense? They just couldn't score. And I'm afraid that they're going to run into some of those same problems this year. But the defense is good. With Christian Gonzalez, they're really good, and Matt Judon showed up today. That was a little bit of a low-key fear from what I understand.
Oh, that he wasn't going to
That he wasn't going to show up. That New England defense is good. I've never had a problem with that. The problem is that it is hard to consistently win games 13-7. Because you come up against good offenses, all you have to do is put a team in a good scoring position twice, and you're beat. Because you just couldn't do anything offensively. But top to bottom, that New England defense is good.
Problem is you can't win games, you can't score points. And they haven't been able to do that since Tom Brady left.
Look, there's only a handful of teams that had top 20 graded two top 20 graded run stuffers last year. New England is one of 2.
And who were they?
New England was one, Philadelphia was the other.
No, I mean, who are the players?
Christian Barmore and Armin Watts. And yes, I know Armin Watts didn't play a ton of snaps, but he played enough to qualify.
All right, that is a bit of surprise. New England Patriots at the 3rd best run-stopping team.
Oh, just wait till you hear who 4 is.
Okay, give it to me. The Carolina Panthers?
Derek Brown's probably the best run stuffer in the NFL.
And then what?
I don't care.
Okay.
I mean, honestly.
What's behind him?
If you look up and down at the way defenses are built in the NFL right now, you're not catching a lot of guys that are this much better against the run than they are against the pass.
Mm-hmm.
The only one outside of Derek Brown that really jumps off the page is David Onyemata from the Atlanta Falcons. Other than that, practically every other defensive tackle has, and I'm not saying Derek Brown's a bad pass rusher. He's just way better against the run. There's not many teams that have a specialist like that. Tampa Bay is one, even with the drop-off of Vita Vea last year. Mm-hmm. I think Jacksonville is one with Eric Armstead. And that's just the discrepancy in scheme. And then I get to Carolina. And I think he's the best one of the bunch. Now, against the pass, you leave a lot to be desired. J.C. Horn's healthy, I don't think it's that big a problem. When everybody else has to take that jump every time he gets hurt, it becomes a problem.
Yes.
You're another team that the offense puts you in some less than ideal situations.
There's nothing sexy on this team outside of Derek Brown.
I don't know.
On the defensive side for me.
I know that I agree with you there.
I don't know about – I mean, yes, J.C. Horn, when he's on the field, I will agree, put him into that category. But the one thing that they can do is get after a ball carrier.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and you look at the fact that –
second level on down.
The other layer of this is you just added Jadeveon Clowney, who's one of the best edge guys in the NFL against the run.
Mm-hmm.
I swear I think Jermaine Johnson's been watching Jadeveon Clowney tape since he was about 8 years old because they look like the same guy.
Carolina Panthers top 4 run stuffing team. All right. Do you have another surprise at 5?
I don't think this is a surprise. It's the Baltimore Ravens.
That's not a surprise.
Baltimore
the surprise would be maybe them being at 4.
Say that one more time. I didn't understand.
I said maybe the surprise would be them being at 5 instead of higher. But,
okay.
But it's not a surprise that they're in the top 5.
All right. So what's surprising about that? Outside of Justin Madubuike and Michael Pierce, tell me, and Kyle Hamilton, who's a better pass rusher than he is anything else.
Yes.
What is it that I'm really jumping up and down about?
You don't like Roquan Smith?
I like him as a pass defender.
He's a pass
I love him in coverage.
Mainly.
I mean, look, this is a team that was in the middle of the NFL last year at stopping the run, which would bother me a lot less, except for the fact you couldn't throw on them.
Mm-hmm.
And they were 6th in the NFL against the pass. And 2 of the ones in front of them are super misleading. I believe in Baltimore's scheme. I believe in a lot of their players. But I think it's more a talented defense than it is a specialized defense, if that makes sense. Because the question that you asked me when we set out to do this is the teams that can stop the run. Well, Baltimore didn't do that consistently last year. And I could make the argument that losing Mike McDonald and Anthony Weaver that nobody talks about, I can actually make the argument that your defense should be worse next year, this upcoming season than it was last year. For me, it's more of a just genuine respect of how good the organization is and how well coached this team is that you're still at 5. Because I have you in front of a couple teams that don't necessarily make a ton of sense. It's hard to explain outside of you were this bad against the pass how I have them ahead of Detroit. It's hard to explain how I have them ahead of the Bears. It's hard to explain how I have them ahead of the Jets and the Browns.
Mm-hmm.
Dirty little secret time. The 4 teams I just said are the next 4 teams on this list. So before any of you that are fans of them get upset, you're not going to wait real long.
Right. It's the fact that Baltimore brings the lumber, at every level, from, the third corner down to the nose tackle. Every one of those dudes will step up and pop you in the mouth. And that's what I see when I see, when I think of like a run stuffer team of just somebody that is going to get after you. And when I could throw, Kyle Hamilton in your face on certain downs, I feel really good about that.
Well, and that's the other part of this, is that you keep saying Kyle Hamilton like he's a positive. In this scenario, he's not.
He's not?
He's one of the worst run defense in terms of run defensive grade. He's one of the worst in the NFL. Now, that's a little bit misleading because having Roquan Smith allows him just to be a bat out of hell, which doesn't always grade that well. I think he is a neutral far more than he is a negative, but he's way better as a pass rusher. He's way better in coverage. He makes some plays against the run. He blows some assignments against the run, too.
Yeah. All right, Baltimore rounding out the top 5 of Flostradamus' top 13 run defenses for the 2024 NFL season. Take a quick break. When we return, we'll continue the list here in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville.
This is the best time for being outdoor.
Clear.
Thank you.
Shoulders, backs, or hips are hurting. Don't suffer any longer. Non-surgical joint pain relief is here at QC Kinetics. Call them today. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. I'm talking lasting joint pain relief with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. QC Kinetics advanced treatments harness your own body's ability to restore and repair damaged joint tissue so you can walk and run and hike and play golf and move again pain-free. QC Kinetics is under the leadership of former orthopedic surgeon Dr. Mitchell Scheinkupp, a true pioneer in regenerative medicine. Their advanced protocols have enabled tens of thousands of patients to reclaim their mobility. Stop putting it off. Take action now and live your best life again. Call QC Kinetics now for a free consultation. Call 828-333-9517 in Asheville and Greenville. That's 828-333-9517 in Asheville and Greenville.
It's the Marketer's Report. Today, Capital One's Chief Brand Officer, Mark Mentry, weighs in on building loyalty with customers.
Capital One has really worked to create amazing access moments for our customers. We will do sound check parties that only Capital One cardholders can get access to, and we can't pull that off without iHeart.
As the #1 audio company, iHeartMedia gives marketers access to the audiences, insights, and data you need to grow. If you're a marketer, go to iHeartResults.com.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Right now you're thinking, Comparion? Never heard of them. We know. We also know that you have no idea that Comparion Insurance agents are local and provide expert advice. So to help it stick, we're going to say local agent 4 times in the next 15 seconds. Ready? Go. Our local agents know you and your community. Our local agents offer insurance from top carriers. Our local agents have minty fresh breath.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com. Comparion Insurance Agency. Local agents, expert advice.
And there's number 4.
Hi, I'm Chad Greenway. After retiring from the NFL, I've embraced my new role coaching my kids in their youth sports. Our Youth Basketball Association made the decision to use trusted coaches to train, screen, and educate all of our basketball coaches. Visit trustedcoaches.org to learn more. I'm a trusted coach. Are you?
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. This is JW with Parks Ford Hendersonville, and we are excited to kick off the Parks Promise Community Hero Program. This year, we'll be celebrating nonprofits throughout Western North Carolina that live out our core value to do better and be better for the communities that we serve. There are so many organizations doing amazing things, from being a helpful hand to a soft voice or a warm heart to embrace their neighbors. We can't wait to introduce you to our 2024 Parks Promise Community Heroes. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up under new ownership by an Asheville native to better serve our community with the finest custom apparel and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics can customize whatever you, your team, business, or local group may need through high-quality screen printing, embroidery, and laser engraving right here in Asheville. Free personal delivery within Buncombe County and a reduced delivery fee anywhere in Western North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com and MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel shops.
At Ingles, whether we're celebrating Friday night rivals, televising college basketball games, bringing the Fan Fest to semi-pro soccer, or taking you out to the ball game at your minor league park, it's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
The Sportsocracy.
That is some good, clean family fun there, eh, Cod?
We're back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville. live in the Ingalls studio. I'm Tank Spencer. The Mullet is live from Mullet Manor once again.
Where there was just carnage.
Oh, there he is.
Just absolute carnage on a can of Blue Almond honey roasted peanuts or honey roasted almonds. They pay me no money. They could and probably should for as much free advertising as I've given them since I've been holed up here.
We've already given them way too much free advertising.
It's not, because I need all of you to go to your local Ingalls, low prices, love the savings, and procure as many tins of those as you can to make sure that they're still around, or I'm going to be very angry if anything ever happens to them.
Big fan of the salt and vinegar. Although the heart doctor tells me not to do that. I can't do the salt and vinegar anymore.
Why? Salt.
It's all the salt.
Salt. Yeah.
Too much salt.
There's sugar in the honey roasted, and I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't always love that, but apparently non-smoking Jeremy really likes sweets.
He absolutely loves the sweets, which is terrifying.
Oh, yeah, because that just means I'll be fatter than I am right now. Which is, precisely. I mean, not saying we're into critical mass, but we're certainly in hibernation.
Well, look, if they made salads that tasted as good as Little Debbie cakes, then we would be... We could all just be, fit and thin.
Salads are awesome. I eat a salad practically every day. The only problem is I usually chase it with half a tin of Blue Diamond almonds and other things that are terrible for you.
Yes. When you add all the sugar to the nuts, yes, that's when they become bad for you.
It's also when you end up in the Don't Do Crimes segment, just based on the way you said that.
We got more breaking news out of the NFL.
Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news? Who's gonna break the news?
And the breaking news is that Mike Tomlin is not leaving Pittsburgh. As we all knew, Pittsburgh signing Mike Tomlin to a 3-year contract extension so that he will be now with them through the 2027 season.
That and the fact that you're underbite, the dance is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in my life. That's the two least surprising stories you'll hear all day.
Yes, indeed.
I always laugh at Steeler fans that talk about, I can't wait to get rid of Mike Tomlin. For what? Like, who is it that you think is going to show up behind him that's going to be so much better?
Anybody that can keep us going from 9-8.
Well, there is a merit to going 9-8.
Yeah, what is that?
What is what?
I'm waiting for you to give me the what's the merit there.
I mean, I'm not firing you for going 9-8. It's been 7 years longer for the Steelers than any other team in the NFL since they were sub 500.
Yeah, I don't know. It's at some point that gets a little old, though, doesn't it? At some point, 9-8 is not good enough.
Well, okay.
And when do you draw the line? How many seasons in a row?
Okay.
Do you go without actually threatening for a title before you go, you know what, we do need a venue change?
Well, I had this analogy in my head for something you said earlier, and I don't remember what it was, and I chose not to say it. But now you have set me up to say it twice, and I'm not going to bypass it twice. It is really easy for people to take the moralist stance when they don't have any options. It is a lot harder to say, I would never look at another woman when the Spice Girls show up at your door with the Miracle Whip in their hand. That is when all of a sudden your actual ability to say no gets tested. Now, not you, metaphorical you, Frumpy Frumperson, who, is 5'7", 320 pounds, I'd never cheat on my wife. Well, you don't have any ability. So, you'll never fly either, but it doesn't have anything to do with the fact you don't have wings. I just look at Pittsburgh and go, how could you sell that? The fan base is tired of going 9-8. You know what you'd be really tired of? Going 4-13. Because that roster in places is straight up bad. You have the worst receiving core I think I've ever seen. It's young, and it could develop. I don't know who exactly it is that you trust. I mean, Pat Freiermuth is the most trustworthy receiver you have, and he's a tight end.
Well, you're kind of in the I'd say you're kind of in the same boat of Green Bay was last year when they had 7 rookies. Like, you didn't know who it was going to be. I mean, at least I've got Pickens.
Yeah, but at least their rookies were at least I had 9 rookies that we felt reasonably good about. Pittsburgh has Roman Wilson, George Pickens, and oh, boy, just boo. Boo. We should have done this earlier.
Boo.
Pittsburgh looks like a team that went in with the 0 wide receiver theory in a fantasy football league. And we got 2 quarterbacks and 4 running backs and 2 tight ends, and our receivers leave a lot to be desired.
George Pickens and Van Jefferson.
I feel like the Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver core is I can't remember now what was that venue you were telling me about that had like 8,000 bands that I've heard of, but I haven't heard of any of them in the last, I don't know, 22 years.
Oh, what was that?
It was like Mudvayne and
the Metal Fest or something.
Yeah, it was somewhere
in Ohio.
Yeah, it was somewhere. I remembered it was in Ohio.
Yeah, they're doing it at a prison in Ohio.
Yeah. And to be honest with you, the coolest part of that show is that it's in a prison. And you know why they're doing it in a prison? Because I'm pretty sure at least 6 of the bands that are doing this show are incarcerated in that prison. They couldn't get day passes for everybody.
Oh, shoot.
And I'm not trying to, make your money. It looked sold out. I don't know why, but it appeared that way.
Oh, yeah, because there are a lot of dudes our age that are like, yeah, I'd go for a full weekend to relive my early 20s or teens.
Skillet? Oh, yeah. Skillet's in every one.
And
I don't even have to look. Chevelle, I would go see. Skillet is the one that I look at and go, I think you've been at every festival that had the word rock in it since about 2006. Your agent must have a rubber stamp that goes, yes. We want you to play at a prison. We want you to play at a child's birthday party. Yes. I like money.
Yeah, it's called Incarceration. I-N-K, because it's a rock and roll or it's a music and tattoo festival.
This all sounds like a real good place to get a beer and a cigar, by the way.
Oh, yeah. It's got Breaking Benjamin, The Offspring, Chevelle, Hailstorm, Shinedown, Godsmack. Yeah, it's all that same
Godsmack
early
is the
2000s.
best. That's the best band in that lineup.
Yes, it is, and they are the headliner. They're the primo band on Saturday night of this music and tattoo festival up in Ohio. But it's all those same bands: Seven Dust and Killswitch Engage and the Dropkick Murphys.
Killswitch Engage. That was a great band for guys whose girlfriends cried less than they did.
Mushroom Head, which was the Wish version of Slipknot.
Here's my question.
They wore masks the same way.
How did we get? I don't know. Even remember how we got down this rabbit hole.
I don't know. You wanted to talk about rocking out at the prison, and I'm here to deliver.
I'm here to party.
Here's the info for the masses in case you want to go to the weekend-long Incarceration Music and Tattoo Festival at the Ohio State Reformatory.
I just have one question. What is Walmart going to do with all of their wonderful employees playing at this incarceration festival? That self-checkout line's going to be lit that weekend.
Yeah.
You ain't going to be able to find nobody to ring up your groceries.
The lead singer of Shadows Fall has a great 401k program with the Home Depot.
How did we secure that much time off from the Home Depot?
It's just slow times during the summer, I guess.
Well, I mean, look, this is what you can expect from our fireside chat shows. An hour later, you're just going to look at it and go, how the hell did we get here? Because that's an hour with no commercials where we can say the wordy dirds and drink the boozes. And the next thing you know, there's no telling what we could be talking about.
Yeah.
We got the incarceration off Mike Tomlin. Our brains are a dark place, folks.
And you're in the Sportsocracy here on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM, and 1400. When we come back, we will continue the top 13 run defenses for the 2024 NFL season next.
This is your Exergen temporal scanner.
And we're clear.
On ESPN Asheville.
Looking good now as we get into the afternoon. High pressure is going to be in. And
Crazy Blade just dared me to name a Spice Girls song. I don't know that he knows what he's messing with there.
I think it's going to stay dry for the rest of the week.
Do you know a bunch of them?
When I was a child, I had a very specific dream, but I can't say even on the risk that it could be put out over the radio waves.
Wednesday, warmer, sunny, 85. Thursday, Friday, mostly sunny, close.
I know the Wannabe song. I think that's the only one I know.
I couldn't name you a lot of them, but I've seen a lot of very drunk people in karaoke bars sing a lot of them.
With Allstate, not one based on any.
Did they have more than one song?
Oh, yeah.
Safely, you could save money. Good to know. Visit allstate.com or call for a quote today.
Keep listening for the next chance.
Now, what you didn't ask me was, were any of them good?
Festival, presented by
and the answer there,
a weekend full of superstar performance.
I'm just looking at the list here to see if any of the names ring a bell.
Tickets go on sale Friday, June 14th.
But starting Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, Capital One cardholders
Spice up your life. Every boy, every girl.
And other exclusive offers for 48 hours only, or while
all over the
pre-sale
world.
tickets last.
Spice up
Visit
your life.
iHeartRadio.com/Capital One for more pre-sale details.
I grew up in a world before the internet,
Permission
so
to detach boosters.
Negative, Commander. You're off
had to
course
make
for the
your
moon
own
sensor
phone
shows
as a
something
high school
massive
freshman
over.
back in
Did you want
2000.
additional items?
Only the new loaded scratch.
I had a serial killer stalker type notebook with cutout pictures of Jerry Howell in it.
First person on Mars.
Oh.
Take that, billionaires.
I loved her.
Why?
The North Carolina Education Lottery. Massive amounts of prizes. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.8 to 4.88.
In a society with Baby Spice
877-718-5543.
and Victoria Beckham,
Cleaning's
you
hottest
chose
summer
Jerry
sale is
Hall.
going on now. 15% off
Okay
all
then.
cleaning services. Mention and you'll get 15% off your next service.
And
Use promo
scary.
code summer sale when scheduling online at
Yikes.
Asheville.com.
If you've ever thought about Botox treatment before, then your dentist
She'd probably be 10th on my list of the favorite Spice Girls.
and family dedicated to
And it's honestly because she scares me. The hair scares me.
also be used to treat headaches.
Don't
that
be
come
jealous
from
just
people
'cause you
grinding
have
their
none.
teeth or
I have none. That's what I'm saying. No one should have that much hair.
and you want to see if it's a good option for you, check out Asheville Smiles online at ashevillesmiles.com. World-class dental care with a hometown feel.
Did you know Ingalls only sells USDA choice and prime?
Patrick Holt called her David Beckham Spice. I now will never refer to her as anything else from now on.
Fresh in the
Footy Spice.
grass-fed, organic, you name it. Not only that, we'll even cut it to order just the way you like it. And we grind meat fresh in the store multiple times a day. It's all in the bag. That's the best meat in town for the best folks in town. Ingalls, low prices, love the savings.
If you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains, you need to call the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at clarissasellswnc.com. Download our free app on Google Play or the App Store. Type in Asheville Home Search. You'll be able to connect with our team and see all the available homes for sale in our area. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
This summer, Dale's Pale Ale salutes freedom. Freedom in fabric, or the fabric of freedom. Denim Dales available for a limited time in the blue jean box. Dale's... Are we skipping crimes here? Because we still got like 8 teams to do. Relax.
No, we can still do crimes. I have a good crime story.
All right. Oh, we're packing beer, so we win. Seize the Dales. Unwind in style with a cool breeze up the jorts. Just look for the beer in the blue jean box. We are back in the Sportsocracy on ESPN Asheville, 92.9 FM, 880 AM and 1400. Time for the most important message of the day, Jeremy.
Don't do crimes!
And what do you got for us on the crime beat?
My story is, this is one of the rare times that the sports world and the crime world have crossed over each other. Former Miami Dolphins star cornerback Xavier Howard has been sued. And you ask, what could he possibly be sued for that is in this crime story? And I must emphasize that this is only an allegation. I don't know that this is true, but there is an active lawsuit. The allegation was made Thursday in a lawsuit filed last year by a woman who is not the mother of the child in this story. That's all I know. So this was, I'm going to assume this was filed by the stepmom, possibly. Xavier Howard was dating a woman. Apparently, she became pregnant. He wanted her to have an abortion. She refused. When this happened, allegedly, he started sending revenge porn to her kid. The kid's 13 years old. He's 18 now. This is one of the weirdest stories I think I've ever heard in my life.
He was 13 at the time of the text messages?
Yes, this was from several years ago.
Oh, my. That is disgusting.
I just, like, I don't.
How can you be that depraved as a human being?
If it's true, which this is just solely an allegation, so we must keep saying that. But it's a horrible story. One way or the other, here's what we know. Somehow, the kid wound up with explicit content on his cellular device, and it came from the phone of Xavier Howard. That's what we know. I can't tell you who hit send, but I can tell you somebody did, according to the legal filing. Don't do that. Stop being jackasses as people. I watched like a season and a half of Chicago PD over the weekend, and my meter for jackal behavior is just really running low.
Well, I mean, first off, sharing pornographic material with teenagers is never a good idea, in case anybody didn't know that. Second off, the kid's own mom? Ugh. That hurts me. Just thinking of, what kind of mental anguish is going through that young man's mind?
No doubt.
Ugh. This is... I mean, obviously there are crimes here, right? Sharing pornographic material, if true, is criminal behavior. I feel like this should step to another level. What are they, mitigating factors, or what do they call them?
Well, this is why Jeremy should be the president of the world.
It's like an escalator, right? This is an escalator to the original crime.
Because this is a civil lawsuit. There is no crime that has been charged up into this point.
Nah. Okay. I'm officially disturbed now.
You should be. It's a terrible story.
Yikes. It is absolutely terrible. All right, let's get back to the run defenses in the NFL for 2024. Your top 5, Flostradamus, San Francisco 49ers, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the New England Patriots, who, shockingly enough, the numbers do back that up. The defense was good, even though the team was not. The Carolina Panthers with Mr. Tackle Machine Derek Brown on the front line. And number 5, the Baltimore Ravens. Your next tier sounded like it was all from the AFC North. I don't remember
NFC
all of
North.
the teams you named.
No, the Detroit Lions are
Cleveland
6.
in there. The Detroit Lions are 6.
Okay. I mean, look, this is a team that was good against the run, and you can say, oh, that's because teams just threw on them. I get that. They still faced the run. So, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to look at that. Oh, and by the way, you just added DJ Reader, who's one of the better defensive tackles in this league, especially against the run. It's hard for me to think that that's not going to get better.
Well,
I also don't think teams are going to be able to just throw all over you this year like they were last year.
There's a chance that they'll get tested a little bit more this season.
No doubt.
And so maybe the numbers won't look as good next year because of that. Because, yeah, you're not just going to go in there and throw the ball willy-nilly against Carlton Davis and Emmanuel Mosley. And these aren't primo, superstar guys. But Brian Branch is close. He's going on that path.
He's very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
The thing I will tell you is it's really hard to just grind out games against a team that can score like the Lions can.
Yes. And you'll have to air it out to keep up in some cases. So I can see that as well. Detroit Lions at 6, number 7.
7's a tie. The New York Jets and the Cleveland Browns. Last year, neither one of you was great against the run. You were fine. You were elite against the pass. And it got to a point at times where teams would bleed you out with the run. Now, that being said, in terms of talent, you should both be in the top 3. You're not, and I can't really put my finger on why, but I think those are the 2 best defenses in the NFL. So I can't really have them any further than this. So this kind of gets into this is where stats are starting to lie. It was virtually impossible to score against these teams through the air. So I think it's almost an escalation of you just got run on a lot, and it led to higher yards per game. The yards per carry is not terrible for the Browns. It's a little worse for the Jets. But I still think Quinnen Williams is one of the best defensive tackles in the league. Now, I would know Aaron Donald. He might be the best defensive tackle in the league. And Cleveland just has so much talent from top to bottom. It's hard for me to differentiate those two because I feel like they're the same team.
Do
you ever run into that?
I mean, I would say run. I think I would give the edge to the run stuffing on the Cleveland side. Just that look at their personnel, because the New York back half is so good. See, I feel like your back half is way better, or not way better, but I'll say a step above
better.
Cleveland's. And
I'd agree with that.
Their front's a little better than yours.
My only problem is, all right, so who's the run stuffer for Cleveland that you're really worried about? They have a lot of dudes. They just don't really have an elite one. This is how I got to – if I had to put one above the other one, it would have been the Jets.
Okay.
Quinnen Williams, in terms of rush defense grade, would you like to hear the number of interior linemen that graded better than him last year?
Yes.
Would you like to hear it again? Maurice Hurst was good. He just didn't play a lot. Shelby Harris was good. He just didn't play a lot. Those two combined didn't play as many snaps as Quinnen Williams did. So you just don't have that one guy. I would actually look at that, and I might be saying kind of the same thing you did. From 1 to 10, I can get down with Cleveland. The problem is that I can't get past 1. I have an elite 1. You have Myles Garrett, but he's a pass rusher. He's good against the run. He's not Quinnen Williams. This is not what he's asked to do.
Yes. I think we're both saying the same thing here.
The sum of all parts in Cleveland might be better, but I think the Jets are on the higher side of top-end talent.
Okay. All right. And then at 9?
Yep. The Chicago Bears.
How much better can they be than they were last year?
Well, I don't know the answer to that. Chicago is a team that I look at top to bottom defensively. If I look at how they played at the end of the year, the last half of the season, they played like, if not the best defense in the league, one of a handful of the best defenses in the league. Mm-hmm. And I don't think there's anything debatable about what I just said. But then we get into facts don't care about your feelings, which is from week 9, they played New Orleans, Carolina, Detroit, who they gave up 31 points to, Minnesota, Detroit again, who they gave up 28 points to, or excuse me, who they gave up 13 points to in one of the weirdest games I've ever seen, Cleveland, Arizona, Atlanta, Green Bay. Not exactly the definition of offensive juggernauts that you beat. And I guess I go back to the beginning of that season when you played Green Bay the first time, when you played Kansas City, when you played a fully healthy Minnesota team, when you played the Chargers who were healthier at that time. Those teams were dragging you down the sidewalk. I think this defense is good, and I think it's talented. I also think we're grossly overvaluing how good. That team's really young. I mean, insanely young when you dig into it. Montez Sweat and Jalen Johnson are practically the only veterans on that defense that play down in, down out. Kevin Byard helps, but he wasn't real good in Philadelphia. I still think he's got a lot left in the tank, but I'd be remiss if I didn't point that out. You get past that, it's a lot of dudes in their first, second, and third year.
Yeah, okay. At number 10.
This is where it kind of turns into a more of a projection, because at 10 I have the Houston Texans, Houston was better defensively, I think, than I even realized. And now with everything else you've added, I think Houston can be elite defensively. I think they already are elite offensively. And I guess that's why I just keep looking at that team going, that's my dirty little secret of this year. Of, you know what? Kansas City can't win every Super Bowl for 10 years. Somebody's going to beat them. I feel like it's somebody from the AFC, and if I had to pick anybody, it would be the Houston Texans.
Yeah. Houston's definitely on the short list. But as far as stopping the run, I mean, D'Amico Ryans, we knew the defense was going to be good when he came in. That if he didn't have the horses, right, you were going to find them. And he did. He went out and found them, found guys that fit into everything that he wants to do, and they were crazy hair on fire last year. Danico Autry at the center of that run defense. But then you add in the linebackers that can just swarm.
Well, they can fly. Yes. You have a D-line that's that good, and I see a miniature version of the San Francisco 49ers in that linebacking core.
No doubt.
I mean, it looks – and this is not like the wish version. This is this looks awfully like San Francisco 3 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Where you put virtually the exact same draft capital into three guys that look really similar when you watch them on tape.
The Houston Texans at 10. 11.
11's the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think they take a jump defensively this year because they're another team that's really young in certain places. And I do like the fact that they added Patrick Queen because I feel like that gives them somebody in the middle. Pittsburgh's had a problem at that inside linebacker spot for what feels like since James Ferrier. And they drafted Devin Bush to fix that, and that didn't work even not nary a little bit. But I feel like them and the next team I have on the list, they're very similar. Okay. In that I feel like you have a little bit of a changing of the guard. Not necessarily player-wise, but coaching-wise. Because Philadelphia is my 12.
All right, Vic Fangio taking over that team that is stacked.
They're stacked.
With a bunch of young talent.
Absolutely stacked. Mm-hmm. My problem comes in that you had all of these same players last year, and you had one of the worst defenses in the league. So I'm sure to somebody that's going to feel low because they have Jalen Carter and they have Jordan Davis and they have a lot of talent. I'm going to need to see you do it before I believe in you that much. Mm-hmm. I guess we're talking about going from the 27th ranked defense in the NFL to now this will be the second time that I feel like people are going to try to defend Philadelphia to me. Go back and watch last year. Okay, some of this was not coaching. It could be a morale thing, but there were times that it, honest to God, looked like Philadelphia's 11 guys on defense just met each other. Mm-hmm. And you can have all the talent in the world. If you can't work together, none of it matters.
Yeah. I was going to say, how does that not fall back onto coaching, though?
It does. Coaches don't tackle. And the coach can't tell you to how do I say this properly? The coach doesn't really have anything to do with how your eyes work. So when you get lost looking in the backfield, that ain't your coach's fault. That's your fault. And I saw way more of that with Philadelphia than you would wanted to. Look, the coaching was bad. I'm not trying to say it wasn't. Mm-hmm. There was some of that you got to fix that yourself. The coach is not fixing that for you.
Yep. All right, and then finally at number 13.
This was the toughest spot on the list because I feel like there's about 7 teams that deserve to be said here. The New York Giants are one of them. And yes, I know how weird that sounds based off how god-awful bad they were. They have all the talent in the world. Mm. And now that you have a pass rusher that can win one-on-one on the opposite side of Kayvon Thibodeau, I think the defense is going to get better. I also look at Dexter Lawrence and just go, he's so good. that it's hard for me to leave that team off this list. I look at Miami with the slew of dudes that they added to kind of insulate themselves pass rushing wise. Mm-hmm. I think that allows you to do some different things. Towards the end of the year last year, they were killed. And had just nobody left. So it kind of skews the stats on them a little bit. And then the final one that I just want to mention is the LA Rams.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how you're doing this. I have absolutely no idea how you're hitting guys that just fill a very specific role so well. Talent-wise, you don't match up with any team that I just said. If I just look at player A versus player B, you're not even in their ballpark. But you get results. And I have no reason to think that Sean McVay won't do it again.
Yep. Front seven of that team could be really good in a couple of years. Everybody,
and it's weird to say that coming off the heels of one of the best defensive linemen in the history of this league retiring, and that's what we're talking about is, man, they could be good.
They could be good. I am super shocked you did not weave the Las Vegas Raiders into there after telling me about Max Crosby being the best run, or like top 3.
He was the best. He was the best edge rusher in terms of run stop win rate in the NFL, and it was by a lot.
Yeah.
The problem that I had with the Raiders, and I considered them, they probably deserve to be mentioned. Mm-hmm. The problem is that the other 3 guys on that defensive line are all pass rushers, like almost exclusively pass rushers. So I'm not trying to denigrate them in any way. I just feel like they're better against the pass than they are the run. And as time goes on, you may see teams try to bleed them that way. They do have John Jenkins, who has somewhat bounced around this league like a ping pong ball, but he's been pretty good against the run everywhere he's gone.
You're in the Sportsocracy, and this is ESPN Asheville, our position group breakdowns, rankings, top 13s. Will continue tomorrow. I think we got another batch of these on the way. Summer scouting as well, as we continue to wait until football starts again. Everybody take care this afternoon. We'll be back with you tomorrow at noon right here on ESPN Asheville.
Still save, because nobody likes having to choose. It's like getting romance.
And you're clear.
Thank you.
I love you. Also, I'm a robot.
At T-Mobile, you can get the benefits you want and still save on every plan versus AT&T and Verizon. See how with our savings calculator at T-Mobile.com/switch. Plus, switch and keep your phone. We'll pay it off up to $800.
Via virtual prepaid card in 15 days. Qualifying unlocked device, credit, service, and timely redemption required. Card has no cash access and expires in 6 months. See T-Mobile.com.
Do better, be better every day. That's the Parks Promise. This is JW with Parks Ford Hendersonville, and we are excited to kick off the Parks Promise Community Hero Program. This year, we'll be celebrating nonprofits throughout Western North Carolina that live out our core value to do better and be better for the communities that we serve. There are so many organizations doing amazing things, from being a helpful hand to a soft voice or a warm heart to embrace their neighbors. We can't wait to introduce you to our 2024 Parks Promise Community Heroes. Experience the Parks Promise today at parksfordhendersonville.com.
Join us for our iHeartRadio album release party with John Bon Jovi. Celebrating the launch of Bon Jovi's new album, Forever, presented by Hulu. You'll hear all about the new album. Legendary. As part of an exclusive interview.
That's the magic of songwriting. I literally was staring out the window and I was like, oh, there it is. That's the magic. When it happens, you don't know where it comes from or why.
Watch on iHeartRadio's YouTube channel now.
Make this month more special with free This Week entertainment picks from Xfinity. Celebrate Pride Month with premium LGBTQ+ networks like Revry, Deku, and Out TV. For Black Music Month, watch concert performances by legendary artists of the past on Quest TV. Or revel in the hip-hop culture of today with Revolt. And no matter the occasion, iHeartRadio's Hip Hop Beats playlist has the soundtrack to all your good times. Xfinity has free entertainment for any celebration. Say free this week into your Xfinity voice remote.
Compassionate care starts with respected and valued employees. Sandstone Health and Rehabilitation offers careers with purpose and opportunities for advancement for those looking for meaningful employment or anyone searching for a leading short-term rehabilitation and long-term care facility for loved ones. Sandstone prides its matched staff.
Do you have to pick up your children
we set
after
the standard for excellence in employment and compassionate care.
Now they're at they're out of school.
okay.
at sanstonehealth.com.
What are the chances I can bother you for a favor?
f***ing disgrace. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics have teamed up on
What you got?
Asheville native to better serve our community.
So
with
Amy
the
cracked
finest
a
custom
filling on
apparel
Friday?
and unique branded items at the best price. Showtime Sports and Mountain Graphics.
She's going to Summit Dental down there by your house.
I don't do dentistry work anymore.
No, I don't need you to fix it there, Jackal.
Right here in Asheville. Free personal.
Yeah.
Could I trouble you for a ride? We think they might have to put her
Western
under.
North Carolina. Visit ShowtimeSportsAVL.com
I just don't wanna have both cars
and
there.
MountainGraphicsAVL.com. Your one-stop custom apparel.
Like right now?
Buy, sell, or invest in real estate in the mountains,
appointment's at
you need
4,
to call
so-
the agents at Clarissa Sells WNC, brokered by eXp Realty. Check us out online at Clarissa Sells.
Yeah, I can do that.
I mean, I
Did I
still
mention
got
that
to take a
Clarissa
quick
Sells
shower
WNC
'cause
loves
I look
teachers?
like a hobo.
We love teachers so much, we're giving back 25% of our commission at closing. For more information, contact us today at 828-774-6343 or clarissasellswnc@gmail.com.
All right.
Just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate, not one based on anyone else. So if you drive safely, you could save money. Good to know. Visit allstate.com or call for a quote today.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Right now you're thinking, Comparion? Never heard of them. We know. We also know that you have no idea that Comparion Insurance agents are local and provide expert advice. So to help it stick, we're going to say local agent 4 times in the next 15 seconds. Ready? Go. Our local agents know you and your community. Our local agents offer insurance from top carriers. Our local agents have minty fresh breath.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com. Comparion Insurance Agency. Local agents, expert advice.
And there's number 4.
The Sportsocracy.
Doesn't that stuff cause brain damage? I don't know.
Live from the Ingalls studio.
Because that's just asking the cosmic football gods to punch me in the junum again.
Weekdays after Greenie on ESPN Asheville.
For more information about contests on the station, log on to ESPNAVL.com.
ESPN Asheville is WPEK W225CJ Fairview, WMFX Waynesville, an iHeart radio station, the exclusive audio home of NBC's coverage of the 2024 Paris Olympics.
Okay.